Welcome back to OtakuDaiKun. We're going to be playing some more Fate Grand Order, the new Salem chapter, which I know little to nothing about, so that should be pretty fun. Going into this completely blind. Okay, good. Just making sure the audio is playing. My audio, that is. How y'all doing? Not bad at all. In fact, hey, no auto. Stop it. In fact, I dare say it came out rather well. Good morning, Sanson. Having a late breakfast? Oh, what a wonderful smell. Is that a crepe? Morning, Mashu. No, it's buckwheat galette? Huh. I'm doing fantastic. I wish I had a bit more free time given retail and the holidays, but yeah. I heard we'd procured some lovely ham, and found myself hooked after spending some time with the chef. So you're using ham, cheese, a soft-boiled egg, and is that zucchini? It looks delicious. Yeah, it does. Thank you. I often had galettes like this when I was growing up in Paris. It's probably something like galette. Probably should say galette. If it's Gilles de Rais, it should be galette. They are originally a peasant dish from the Brittany region. It's even said they were served at the palace of King Louis... Was that the 14th's mother? Anne of Austria. Ideally, I would have liked to pair it with a hard cider, but... Oh right, exactly. You couldn't do that because we've run out, right? Apparently, someone broke into the kitchen and stole most of our alcohol. Really? Was it a thief? I think so, since a number of rooms also experienced inexplicable blackouts around the same time. That's why I'm on the case right now. Holmes has been preoccupied with something in the hangar lately, so it's up to me to be detective this time. I see. In that case, I will gladly offer my assistance. Detective Mashu! Ever since the search for the 7 Holy Grails came to an end, what has brought me the greatest joy is the drastic improvements made to Chaldea's pantry. All you hungry-ass servants who don't even need to eat. Hello. It's thanks to them that servants like us can enjoy seasonal delicacies and flavors from around the world. I am so grateful to be able to experience so many wonderful tastes, but ashamed to learn that there is a thief among us here in Chaldea. Me too. Since Chaldea is still responsible for preserving humanity, managing our food stockpiles is important. Well said. My head. I feel sick. Good morning, Robin. You seem a bit under the weather. Oh, morning, Mashu. Don't mind me. I can smell the alcohol from here. Robin? He's clearly hungover. He must have drunk an immense amount to be affected despite being a servant. Fortunately, this works out well. Here, Robin, drink up. This onion soup. It'll get you hydrated and replenish some of the salt you lost. So yeah, I'm working on a special video that's gonna be a 3-parter. Hello. Yeah, a 3-part video because I'm inspired by Dead Meat's Kill Count series, and I'm going to determine which of 3 different Holy Grail wars, the Great Grail of Apocrypha, the Great Grail War of Apocrypha, rather, the 4th Grail being Fate Zero, and the 5th Grail War of any one of the Fate Stay Night routes, and see which one is the most deadly in terms of the overall body count and casualties. How much am I gonna do? Isn't this split up into sections? I'll try to get as far as I can, till they tell me I can't go any further. But it's gonna take me a little while. Like, I'm literally counting up all the homunculi that get killed and stuff. Yes, this is the last pseudo-singularity before, I believe, the Lost Belt stuff. Gotcha, Salt, yes. If that doesn't cure your hangover, drink a glass of water with some baking soda to reduce the acidity in your stomach. No thanks, I'm not drinking that. I've smelled rotting animals that weren't so rank. There aren't even any medicinal herbs in it. A stream from Ryder's voice actress. Whoa. It's hard to say. Apocrypha could win, but there's also the Great Fire of Fuyuki, which certainly counts, as well as when Sakura gobbles up all them people with her shadow in Heaven's Feel. So we'll find out, won't we? Aren't we still supposed to get a Christmas event too? Aish. Ay. I mean, it's not like you're a witch or an alchemist or... My head. I knew it. You're still in bad shape. What help could you be if there was an emergency right now? Won't you please consider taking Sanson's advice and stop having, and have the soup? Also, I would appreciate it if you could tell me what happened last night, and please don't skimp on the details. Last night? Okay, if that's what you want, I couldn't care less what Dr. Frenchie says, but I can't say no to you. Which writer are you referring to? Still, there's not that much to tell. I just kinda ended up getting roped into a little drinking party the authors were having. Sometimes it's nice to just cut loose and drink like there's no tomorrow. Consequences be damned, you know? Anyway, the last thing I remember is Amadeus crashing the party and drinking the rest of the booze. After that, it's all a blank. Ah, Amadeus, I swear the man is a bottomless pit where alcohol is concerned. He always shows up unannounced at parties, drains the wine cellar as if it were his own, and doesn't even pay a single... I have no idea, is it écu to boot? Medusa, okay. Please watch spoilers at all, folks. What? Robin, were you perhaps sent to raid the kitchen last night as an errand boy of sorts? Now that you mention it, I think something like that might have happened. I see. I'm glad I'm making progress. I knew I could resolve a small case like this without asking Holmes for help. At any rate, it seems clear that you are all getting plastered on Chaldea's reserves. Indeed, what a sorry sight. Yeah, not all of us are brought up with the luxury of using proper knives and forks for our dainty little breakfasts, unlike some nobles I know. I'm not a noble. Oh, is that so? Maybe you're not, but you aren't exactly one of us commoners either, are you? What's going on with Robin? What kind of stick does he have up his ass? An alarm? What does that tablet of yours say, Mashu? Let me see, it's a Type 3 alert. An abnormality has been spotted somewhere far away. I'll head for the command room. Ugh. Can we turn it down? That sounds like the last thing I need. That sound is the last thing I needed with this headache. Robin, you need to take care of your hangover before you do anything else. Agreed. Once you do that, I shall take you to see the chef. Got it. Take care, Mashu. Don't push yourself too hard now. Looks like things have finally calmed down. Guess they've got a handle on the situation now. Oh well, it ain't any of my business. I'm A-OK steering clear of the limelight. All those hot-blooded hero types can handle demon schemes and threats to humanity just fine without me. Ah, this soup really does hit the spot. I'm here, what's the situation? You looking fluffy as ever, Mashu. Did you say fluffy? I'm afraid I don't know what you mean by that, but thank you, Senpai. In fact, you're looking kind of fluffy yourself, too. Like here, where you've still got some bedhead. Okay, you two, it's too early in the morning for flirting, and the command room isn't the place. That's better. Now then, here's all the information we've got so far. You can fix your bedhead while you listen, Sarah. First of all, we know that the alarm originated in North America. Oh, boy. So is this the Salem witch trials, Salem? Because that's gonna be exciting, if so. We're detecting an incredible magical energy signature, but the threat level is fairly low, at least for now. At the moment, we're sending in a fleet to investigative drones to collect more intel, and communicating with the local authorities. Really, we're using drones here at Chaldea now? We're also coordinating with the North American branch of the Mages Association, since Chaldeas didn't observe this phenomenon. However, there aren't many association agents in North America, so I doubt they'll be of much help. Where exactly in North America is this coming from? If you'll direct your attention to the screen right here, this image was taken by one of our stationary satellites. The United States East Coast, specifically an area north of Boston, Massachusetts? Come to think of it, it's still the middle of the night over there, isn't it? Even so. It's so dark, I don't see a hint of light anywhere. It looks more like a crater than anything. That's right, it's pitch black. Complete and total darkness. We can't detect so much as a hint of artificial light within a perfectly circular 7-kilometer radius. This is no blackout or freak weather. Magecraft is the only explanation for something like this. Naturally, since it's covered in such a total darkness, we don't have any other visual data. Do we know what's in the middle of this darkness? I got a subscriber! I'm doing wonderful. As I recall, there was a port town here at this intel. I think its name was Salem. It is a cursed name, both for the white man and for us. Geronimo! My presence was requested, and so I have come. Are you sure I can be of use, Da Vinci? My tribe knows little of the sea, after all. I'm sure, Geronimo. In fact, you're the perfect warrior for the job. The proud members of your tribe have been attuned to the land's voice since ancient times, so we could really use your wisdom right now. I see. So the situation has become so dire that you're making a formal request for my help. Very well. I will be of assistance however I can. What about the people inside the darkness? Are they all right? At the moment, we have no way of knowing. So far, the U.S. Army's reconnaissance drones haven't picked up any sign of local populace, or any radio transmissions. Simply put, 50,000 people who just finished their perfectly ordinary day have inexplicably disappeared. I can only imagine what the White House advisors are going through right now in the run-up to the inevitable press conference. That's terrible. Could this be a demon god pillar? You mean one of the demon god pillars that escaped when Getio was destroyed? Yes, Sarah. This is almost certainly the work of a demon god pillar, that's sad. The extent to which it seems not to be making an effort to conceal the insidious nature of this anomaly concerns me. In the other abnormalities we've dealt with over the past several months, like Shinjuku and Agartha, the culprits tried to keep their identities a secret. On top of that, both of those singularities occurred in the past. Hell, in Agartha's case, it was so thoroughly hidden that it was literally miles under the ground. But that is not the case here. It's taking place right now, and is so obvious that even the US government knows about it. Neither of the other demon god pillars attempted anything like this, and that is truly worrying. Still, at the least, this singularity is on a much smaller scale. It reminds me of Fuyuki and how it's only covering a single town. Smaller scale, only in comparison with what we have seen so far, you mean? But even now I can see this tragedy unfolding before my eyes. I pray that the dawning sun will chase away the curtain of darkness that has befallen this land. So what do you do now, Da Vinci? And you, my friend? We gotta get to Salem right now! Right, Senpai. I'm afraid I disagree. The time is not yet right. But there are people in clear and present danger. 50,000 of them, no less. We do not know for sure that this is not a trap. It's possible that we may end up being glad that only tens of thousands of people lost their lives here. We are still very much in the dark ourselves. All we know for certain is what Da Vinci said. Yeah, I'm not rolling in this, thankfully. Never before have we seen such a bold approach as this. I sense that the demon god lying in wait in this darkness is more cautious and villainous than any we have yet faced. Da Vinci, have there been any updates in the investigation? Any further details come to light? Yes, there have been a few more updates, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. When the darkness first appeared, it quickly expanded to its current radius in just a few seconds, before its progress suddenly stopped. Since then, it's remained completely static, at least from the outside. Mages from the Association have sent in familiars, but we've lost contact with each and every one of them. Land, sea, low-flying air, no matter how the familiars attempted to infiltrate the darkness, not a single one of them has reported back. On top of that, the directors of Boston's Holy Church haven't been quiet about this either. Merlin raid up? Is there a Merlin raid up right now? Or are you talking about the previous one? On top of that, the directors of Boston's Holy Church haven't been quiet about this either. This unidentified phenomenon precludes the use of spiritual evocations, sacrifices, runes, summoning circles, and anti-fortress and anti-army noble phantasms in areas surrounding Salem. These areas include parts of Beverly, Peabody, Danvers, Marblehead, Swampscott, and Lynn. We regretfully report that we have not discovered any evidence of magical involvement, nor can we completely rule it out in regards to this situation. All that means is that this phenomenon has taken the church completely by surprise. So it's safe to conclude that none of the persons of interest they've been keeping an eye on have gone near Salem either. You can tell this is a real bitter pill for them to swallow, especially given how proud they are. It's a bit of a surprise for them to throw up their hands in bafflement like this. Though that's not to say they're at a loss for words. One of them went on to add, "Were I to venture my personal opinion, I might say that it seems that it's at the very hand of God himself has laid waste to this earth." Dude. No. Can you believe that? Sure doesn't sound like something a man of the cloth would go around saying, if you ask me. Well, it would appear to be a different god than the one their faith sees as the one true god. I've heard rumors about Chaldea's staff being stationed around the world for some time now, but I had no idea they were also working at Mages Association branches and the Holy Church. Of course they are. They're covert agents we've planted on site to blend in with their respective areas. The Chaldea Security Organization hasn't just been sitting around twiddling its thumbs waiting for these stray demon gods to reappear, you know. These agents are just a part of our overall effort, though. I have to admit that it wasn't easy finding people with no familial or community ties to get to come work for us. Romani always excelled at hiring the right kind of people. He did leave behind a manual detailing his procedures, but it's just not the same. Still, it definitely helped. Once I knew where to look, it was just a matter of balancing the budget. I recruited mages, demonology experts, and exorcists, and stationed them in cities of interest. And Boston just so happened to be one of them. The other North American agents should all be gathered there by now. At this point, we're still just running recon, Since we're not on site ourselves, the best thing we can do right now is gather as much information as we can and figure out our next move. So we wait for news from people we trust? That's right. At times like this, there's nothing wrong with depending on others for help. You've really grown, Sarah. Trying to handle everything yourself is the height of arrogance and can lead you to terrible mistakes, and in the end, you're left with nothing but grief. I'm relieved to see that self-sacrifice isn't your answer to everything anymore. Still, isn't there anything we can do? Of course, plenty in fact. Now that the alert level has been raised, we're getting reports from all over the world. Somebody has to determine if they're authentic, and whether they're related to what's happening in Salem. I'd like you to handle that, Mashu. Understood. Now I think it's about time we pulled in a certain great detective to help us out. His work in the hangar should probably have gotten boring to him by now, so he'll probably be in his room just wandering around Chaldea. Sarah, would you mind speaking with Holmes yourself? They rely on Holmes too much. Of course, I doubt you'll have much luck when he barely even pays attention to what Watson has to say. I see, don't worry, we'll handle that too. I'll drag him in here by force if I have to. Just like Mrs. Hudson. Besides, Da Vinci, have you ever been cooped up in here, since last night? Ah, you noticed, didn't you? You're right, I was actually in the middle of testing a certain summon when the alarm sounded. Just between us, the timing couldn't have been worse. Even geniuses like me can make mistakes. For a moment, I was afraid I might unwittingly cause the second huge Chaldea explosion. Not funny. Well, you can't blame me. Not after Chaldea's main power and backup power looked like they were about to get knocked out. I see, another piece of the puzzle in my investigation falls into place. Wait, backup? That sounds really important. Thanks in advance for all your help, Mashu. You too, Geronimo. As for you, Sarah, I want you to be ready for anything like a good master. I agree, Senpai. Please let us handle this for now. I may no longer be able to fight on the front lines, but in return I'll do everything I can to support you from back here. That's the sort of Kohai I aspire to be. That's great, but I can't wait to get you back on the front. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Thanks for waiting, everyone. We're nearly ready to begin the operation now. What's more, this will almost certainly end up being the final ray shift. The final ray shift? I don't know about that. What an interesting crew. Why is that? Because we now know that this is the very last demon god pillar, the last singularity to be observed on Earth. We may not have been able to determine where the demon god pillars that escaped from the Temple of Time had hidden themselves, but we were able to find the distortions in space-time they created wherever they went. Not that we could have done that without Chaldeus, of course, and it's those readings that are telling us that this will be the last. The Mages Association and the UN have jointly decided to halt all ray shift operations following this pseudo-spiritron transfer. After this, barring authorization from the new director being appointed in December, we won't be able to ray shift anymore no matter what. That's disappointing to hear, but it does make sense. We shouldn't be ray shifting after humanity has stabilized anyway, since it does involve time travel. What about those stupid events, though? Aren't we about to do one for Christmas? That seems kind of ass backwards, if you ask me. Exactly, which is why the ray shift technology will be sealed away once we've dealt with this final instability. It's now been 72 hours since this large-scale disappearance occurred on the east coast of North America, with Salem at its center. When they're summoned by the Holy Grail, they are given knowledge of the modern era and the overall circumstances. So that's why they're not freaking out, Jacob. Let me start by telling you what we've learned directly from our own investigation and information gathering. First off, we've decided to call the darkness that sprang out up out of nowhere to cover all of the Salem the Mist. Given how it absorbs all visible light and other forms of electromagnetic waves, and doesn't obey any laws of physics. We are certain it's an instance of magecraft. Its scale remains unchanged since it first appeared, as I mentioned earlier, a near-perfect circle with a radius of 7 kilometers. We also now know that the mist extends upwards to an average altitude of 600 meters. It's easy to enter this area, but so far, nothing has done so much as make it back out. Every one of the unmanned vehicles, unmanned surveillance units, drones, and closed-circuit robots sent in by the US Army have been swallowed up by the dark. Either that, or they simply ceased functioning the moment they got too close. They have also tried using helicopters, I'm told they're called Apaches, to lower in sensors, but all of those ended up being destroyed as well. So not even a single drone made it back? That sounds expensive. I'm afraid not. Each and every one ended up broken and inoperable. A number of journalists snuck past the Army's blockade and went into the mist themselves, but there was no sign that any of them have returned. The same is true of the trained animals that were sent in for reconnaissance. Poor things. Nor have we been able to confirm any birds or other wild animals either, coming from or going into the mist. Curses. It's like Code Vein all over again. The jail of the mist. Then it has become a completely barren wasteland, a barbaric land of darkness that does not suffer even a single watt to pass. We next tried to fight magecraft with magecraft by bringing in our own mages. They sent in familiars protected by magical barriers, cyber demons, automata, and more. Unfortunately, despite the local staff's best efforts, those ended in failure too. But as of last night, we finally received word that a single attempt was successful, returning with valuable new information. Could you not have just led with that and spared us all this extra nonsense? I mean, what do the US Army's troubles really matter to us? How dare you! Have you no respect for their sense of duty? My schedule is completely shot thanks to having to write a manuscript on such short notice. Just look at these bags under my eyes. Now, my friend, I understand how you feel, but let us not make molehills into mountains. The important thing is that our work is now done. Our duty has passed like a ship in the night. You there, leave that alone. We need it for dealing with the mist's properties, and to prepare our future countermeasures. It's especially important that you understand this part, Sarah. Why were you two writing a manuscript? Oh, that. We poor, feeble authors were beset by a storm last night, but I believe your attention would be better spent on the matter at hand. The only thing that made it back was a single mechanical doll. It was originally designed to be a clock before a puppet master mage, disguised as a clockmaker, repurposed it. It's made out of oak gears, cast iron nails, and baleen, a robot created without any modern technology whatsoever. This medieval robot managed to bring back sketches of what things are like inside the mist by automatically transcribing what it saw with its crystal pupils. Take a look at these. I see a rock. I see a house. I see a church. I see. Yes, this is definitely Salem. A peaceful run-of-the-mill village whose pious residents live their lives with integrity, until they don't. However, this is not modern-day Salem. These sketches clearly show how it looked centuries ago. Right, we cross-referenced them with our records and found that they were identical to Salem in the late 17th century. Basically, the world within the darkness is 17th century Salem, as it was in colonial times. I see. That would mean it's still British territory then. No wonder the US Army was so completely useless. Be quiet! This cowardly invasion cannot stand! What about the 50,000 people who live there now? Remember, this is not the first time this land has been invaded. As we've established, the recorded observations are of Salem in the 17th century. The only way the robot could make such an observation is if the past had been faithfully recreated, or if some manner of magecraft is displacing the area itself. It's fascinating to ponder, but the effect this could have on humanity is immeasurable. This is almost certainly the work of a demon godpillar still plotting to incinerate humanity. Demon godpillar. That reminds me. Geronimo, earlier you said that the name Salem is cursed. What did you mean by that? That's all in the past now. It belongs to history. Do you mind if I tell this story, Mr. Edison? By all means. Though we may wish it weren't so, this remains part of our nation's history. Very well then. The town of Salem and its neighboring lands were home to 3 tragedies. The first was plague. When the white man came to our shores, he brought with him an epidemic that nearly wiped out the Massachusetts tribe living in Boston Harbor. The second was war, albeit this war was more of a massacre. The Wampanoag tribe members that managed to survive the plague put up a valiant fight, but in the end their chief's skull still became an ornament for the white man's village. Never mind that the white man only survived the cruel winter thanks to the resources the Wampanoag left behind. In a stroke of truly bitter irony, the state would go on to be named after the Massachusetts tribe, and these events would be celebrated as a national holiday. Finally, the third tragedy that took place in Salem was the witch trials. This time, the white man went around killing his own kind. Fearing the devil's influence, they hung many innocent people. I trust you now to see why I call it a cursed land. I do. Wait, trials? I thought the term was witch hunt. No, he speaks the truth. 'Twas witch trials that took place there. That said, these were but a farce of the court as we know it today. There, they were not but a pretense for the villagers to indulge their worst impulses. These were trials in name alone, no more than an excuse for the church to exercise its power. The weak and unwanted were stoned to death. Even the densest of fools could see these trials for what they were. By the time matters had progressed to barbaric witch hunts, the wickedness and corruption had spread so far and taken such deep root that money changed hands, unencumbered by virtue or concern for justice. Fire burn and cauldron bubble. They are merely characters who only ever appeared in works of fiction. I may have made use of them myself in my own stories, but I have never once encountered the genuine article. You're not actually... What? What's the definition of a witch? A lady who can use magecraft? Then literally all female mages are witches, if you want to consider it like that. So it's okay, Medea. Furthermore, those who claim these fictional beings are real in order to serve their own selfish ends are simply in denial of that delusion. In my own time as well, people sensed the truth through skin and scent, even if they did rarely put pen to paper to express what they truly thought. That there is indeed a collective unconscious that fears witches and their curses. Now that some time has passed since then, I wonder what things are like in the modern day. I believe that is less relevant than one might think. I have no interest in determining where in history late 17th century Salem should fall. Nevertheless, it is abundantly clear that piety was not the only thing the Puritans brought to the New World. Those who loathe sin, who would judge sinners by their own hands, are inevitably the sort who would wish to engage in sin themselves. Such people will always exist, no matter the day and age. It is a fundamental aspect of the criminal mind. So what? So what, then, is a witch? A criminal? A victim? The answer to that question has changed as people's beliefs have shifted over time. As one who understands the mysterious and the mystic and rejects the guidance of the unknowable God, I would say that the witch trials were exactly what their name suggests, a lawful process used to pass judgment on so-called witches. An attempt to manage the frenzied panic of a witch hunt in a stylish, civilized manner. Of course, offering madness a seat at the dinner table, after it comes barging in unannounced, does nothing to change its inherent nature. Thus, persecution of witches continued unabathed in the West until it culminated in its final chapter in the New World. Ironically, in Salem, a land steeped in pious faith. It was there where the devil truly ran free, where reason and desire, scientific spirit, and occult mindsets came together. Enough! Put the violin away. What possible use could it be here? If you just want to hear yourself talk, then go to your room where you won't bother anyone. Oh. Was that a bit long-winded? And here I thought I was being considerate by drawing the listener in with generous amounts of exposition. I think that's enough with witch trials for now. For my part, over the last few days I've been investigating whether there might have been any changes in past events. I've been checking the repaired foundations over and over for signs of instability. I haven't overlooked anything, and yet something is still going on. There's something about this singularity that's unlike any we've seen so far. Some small distortion that threatens the very rules of our world. The data is indeed accurate, and this case is undeniably clear for us all to see. Which would mean the culprit is closer to a god than a human. A demon god, to be precise. It is certainly no surprise that a demon god pillar would act veiled in secrecy, but even mysterious acts like this are bound by incontrovertible rules. However, these rules cannot be tested from the outside. To do so, one must venture inwards, to get, as they say, up close and personal. Holmes is right. If we can't get information that makes sense from the outside, then we have to investigate from the inside. Master Sarah, as Chaldea's acting director, I am formally requesting that you be the one to enter the mist. I want you to investigate whatever is inside, rescue as many people as you can, find the demonic god pillar, and destroy it. I'm You're up, Mashu. Right. The mist's bounded field. We've conducted a number of tests in our analysis of the one automata that successfully returned, and learned that the mist eliminated anything made post-17th century technology. That's why the cutting-edge drones that were sent in ceased to function. What's inside the mist? Well, as the acting commander said earlier, there do appear to be humans inside. What's more, we believe that they are leading normal lives despite their confinement. Normal lives? Then the people who live there are all right. But wait a moment, wouldn't they be panicked out of their minds? I know I would. I'm afraid Unfortunately, we just don't know whether those people are safe. We haven't gathered enough information yet. As you saw from the sketches, the area inside the mist is changed completely. It appears to be recreating Salem, and the way its people lived their lives in the late 17th century. Whatever the reason for that may be, that's where we need to begin. Wow, I'm impressed you figured this all out so quickly. Observation lens, Sheba. Incredibly detailed information, too. Especially given that it was observing something in present-day time. Usually, Sheba isn't much help at all, so the whole staff is puzzled by why we weren't able to use it here. Or by why we were able to use it here. Oh my god. Who gave you permission to scan my computer, you stupid piece of shit? Sorry. Software giving me crap. I'm sure there's a good explanation for it, but since we don't have the time to figure it out right now, I'm just going to chalk it up to an unexpected stroke of good luck. Indeed, truly this is an act of providence. God has clearly seen fit to bless us in this dire time. Now we should hurry and find a way through that field, whatever it takes. I agree, which is why Holmes and I put our heads together and came up with a possible strategy. a ray shift that results in the same era. This way we can send you straight to the heart of Salem without moving you across time. However, there are two major conditions involved with this plan. I need you to understand, Sarah. As I explained earlier, we get one round-trip ray shift, period. What's more, the number of people we can shift is severely limited. The Association has already forced us to shut down the reactor in Chaldea's basement. So we only have enough remaining magical energy for one last large-scale round trip. But there are exceptions to every rule, eh? Just goes to show you can't cross a bridge until you come to it. We're not operating independently anymore. We can't afford to be optimistic or even pessimistic. As for the second condition, you'll need to dress for the occasion so that you don't stand out in late 17th century Salem. Think of it as officially sanctioned cosplay. It may sound silly, but we believe it will be essential to letting you move around in Salem unimpeded. Sounds great to me. I'll go first, then. You can't. Why not? Bill, tell them. Indeed. Once we learned all this, Lady Da Vinci asked us to come up with a scenario for infiltrating the area. I nearly fainted when I first thought she was asking me to sneak in, so you can imagine my relief to know this is not the case. You do know you don't have to share every thought that comes into that swollen head of yours, don't you? After all, we servants are but a band of fools and eccentrics. As such, we are well suited to being actors. Thus, in this scenario, you will visit Salem as part of a traveling group of performers. A troupe, if you will. What a joke. The great William Shakespeare reduced to writing a script for a glorified circus act. I knew even before you put quill to paper that, taking into account the inexperienced actors and the uptight audience, there was no way the script would be suitable. Now, Anderson, there is nothing more delightful in a story than a surprising and well-conceived twist. In this case, we hardly need world-class talent. Of course, they will need to be able to perform in some fashion, or the whole play will be for naught. But a troupe is, by definition, a place where those who are otherwise unable to earn a living drift together, which makes it perfect for camouflage. Wait, hold up, you mean we're going to be performing? Is there a problem with that? I think it's a pretty clever idea myself. As for which servants will actually be joining this troupe, I decided to choose them myself, taking Bill's opinion into account, of course. Let me tell you, it was a terrible headache, coming up with a scenario that fit these rank amateurs. Still, that's not to say it wasn't fulfilling. Go ahead and knock yourselves out with this manuscript. Just make sure you pay in full and up front. So then, neither Shakespeare or Anderson will be joining this mission. What about you, Geronimo? I'm sure Senpai would be greatly relieved to have you along. I'm sorry, Mashu, but I can't do that. I wasn't cast in this operation either. No doubt they thought my inclusion would lead to unforeseen difficulties, even as a member of a troupe. I would like nothing more than to help, but not if it means putting my friend in danger. Oh, I see. Oh. On the flip side of that, what's gotten into you, Medea? You loathed this idea from the moment you heard it. You said you'd refuse even if we used a command spell. Does the fact that you've been standing around without making a peep mean you still haven't made a decision? Well, I guess I'm still thinking about it. You want to send Medea to Salem? Are you serious? Even if she is just going to pretend to be a troupe member, that's far too dangerous. After all, Medea really is a... Exactly. Regardless of Medea's extenuating circumstances, sending a real witch to a place famous for witch hunts is a height of folly. Boring, dull, dim-witted. I should have expected no better response from a lion. Quite. There was not a hint of humor or adventure to be found in it. Indeed, couldn't have said it better myself. Huh, go ahead and laugh if you want. I'm used to being ridiculed by selfish so-called geniuses. But this is neither the time nor the place to be discussing humor or fashion or patents. There are American citizens who have been swallowed up by this darkness. Their very lives are at stake. If you want to be funny, then save it for the movies. Bill? No, that's not my master name. They're saying Bill for William Shakespeare. Because William and Bill, it's a short. It's a short. Don't know where the B comes from, but whatever. I understand you're very patriotic, Edison, but I'm afraid things just aren't that simple. This may be the modern day, but we're dealing with a world from the past in a town of which witch hunts where external support just isn't an option. Common sense alone won't get us through this. We need a specialist's expertise. That's why we're counting on Medea to serve in an advisory role. If a demon god is behind this, then it's going to be an extremely difficult mission. And there's no one better suited to find the line between superstition and magecraft than her. Of course, we really didn't expect this request to upset her like it has. But if she changed her mind after sleeping on it, then all's well that ends well. But settle down, there's no problem here. Huh? No, wait. Let me try that again. There's no need to make a fuss over things that haven't come to pass, Mashu. I swear by Hecate that I won't let any harm befall Master. What's this? Are you feeling a bit off today or something? I was just in a bad mood last night. Anyway, it's up to Master to make the final call. Am I wrong, little writer? I'm getting chills. There's something seriously wrong with her. What about you, Mashu? Are you coming along too? I can't. I was never part of the cast to begin with, so... Anyway, now that you're all caught up, I'm going to go ahead and begin the ray shift preparations. In the meantime, Sarah, I want to brief everyone that we chose to accompany you. Remember, we don't have a lot of time before you need to leave. I especially want you to keep in mind that this is our one and only chance to ray shift. Poor lonely Mashu. Oh. What are you reading there? Oh, it's the file for this mission. Did you already finish your briefing? Me? Don't worry, I'm fine. I've been working pretty hard these last few days, but I'm feeling better now that I've had a bit of a break. Compared to what you and everyone else who's about to head to Salem must be going through. I'm sorry, you're right. Looking back now, I have been a bit discouraged. It goes without saying at this point, but I'm not a combatant anymore. I'm Da Vinci's assistant, and a summoning circle engineer. Having an ordinary Chaldea staff member like myself go somewhere like Salem would only put me and everyone else in danger. I just wish there was some way I could be useful. Useful. That's it. Mashu? I'm sorry, Senpai. I just remembered something urgent I have to do. What name are you talking about? Oh, Sarah? Sarah is literally the name my parents would have named me had I been born a girl. I just remembered something urgent I have to do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to prepare right away. See you later. What was that all about? Okay, it looks like everyone's all set. We'll be sending a party of 6 into Salem, including Sarah. Once again, do not let your guard down after making your way past the bounded field. Make sure not to say or do anything that will give away the fact that you aren't originally from the 17th century. Alright, initiating ray shift sequence. What? Wait! Please, take me with you to Salem. Well, now, that's a pretty last-minute request, but I'm afraid we've already filled all the roles we need. There aren't any other. Yes, there is. I've heard that troops like these have a prompter who works behind the scenes to feed the performers their lines. In that case, I believe Senpai will need a dependable Kohai to be her secretary. Don't worry about the scripts. I've already learned them all by heart. I dare say you won't find a better prompter than me on such short notice anyway, so once again I request to accompany to the rest of the troupe. Of course, I'm certain I can be useful as an on-site Chaldean staff member as well. Way to go, Mashu! Whee! You memorized our entire script? Well, I'm impressed. I certainly can't argue with that. What do you think, Mr. Showbiz? Does your script need a bit of support? My script is nothing less than perfection itself. However, even a perfect script means little without actors to bring it to life. A prompter to feed the performers on stage their lines, you say? Such a role could be crucial to ensuring the success of a performance put on by an amateur cast. Above all, I cannot help but commend her for memorizing the entire script. As such, I am more than happy to support Mashi's request. Besides, if the troupe cannot perform convincingly, they are certain to come under suspicion. To be honest, I think this would be a great help. What do you think, Geronimo? I'm afraid I can't concur. Having a young girl accompany a troupe of performers is bound to invite misunderstandings. It would be dangerous even without the threat of combat, but I will say that Mashu seems to have taken all that into consideration. In which case, I believe this is Master's decision to make. What if I say she's the troupe's little sister? Little? If anything, I believe Mashu would be more convincing as your older sister. I'll warn you now, Sarah, such a pretense would only invite further suspicion. Me? Playing Senpai's older sister? I've always wanted to try incest. Mashu. I can see you're set on this, and the other party members don't appear to have any objections. If Sarah's okay with it, then I have no real basis to refuse Mashu's request. But let me give you this warning. Integrity won't keep you safe in a world of abnormalities. Sometimes you'll need to be a straight-up sophist, or to look the other way. At times like that, you'll need to weigh your own principles against the mission's success. Understood. I'll keep that in mind. I'm counting on you, Sarah. Good luck. To Salem! Alright then, in that case, I hereby issue the Remnant Order's final command. Master Sarah will arrive at the Salem Singularity at the current time. Make sure you make full use of all your experience to this date, and see to it that you come back safely from this especially exceptional mission. We do need a Bazette real bad. Dude, with the summer event, it took like 3 hours to get to the first battle. Excellent. Everything looks good with the ray shift. Okay, let's get back to our monitoring duties. All servants remain on standby until further notice. Do you think it was a good idea to let her go along? I knew that Mashu would want to go. You were the one who was most against it, Da Vinci. I've nearly been accused of being a witch myself. Oh, not in the broom-flying, wand-wielding, people-cursing sense, so much as being thought of as a heretic. Somebody claimed that the autopsies I did for research were evil rituals. I'm sorry to say that back then, I didn't handle it very bravely. Instead of standing up for what I believed in, I found myself at a loss for words. I turned my back on the truth, and had to lie about who I really was. Over time, that kind of pressure starts to eat away at you. It's like poison more than anything else. I just thought that Mashu was a little young to go through that kind of torture. Don't be silly. Those two have seen nearly every side of humanity by now. The ugliness of witch trials should put a nice bow on the whole thing. Besides, the very notion of sending a troupe of performers into a Puritan village was utter lunacy from its genesis. Indeed, fighting fire with fire, as they say. Huh? Where are Sarah and the others? Did they already leave? Huh? What are you still doing here? What's going on? Was there a problem with the ray shift? Oh, we seem to have gotten our twist rather early in the story. How delightful. How is this delightful? This is terrible. Is there no way we can contact them? I've been knocked out this whole time. That wasn't me who went along. That was someone pretending to be me, using magic as a disguise. So we're dealing with someone capable of outwitting a witch. This is bad. If you're here, then who's the Medea who went to Salem? Good question. Pseudo-singularity, the Forbidden Advent Garden Salem. Heretical Salem. He's a witch. Burn her. What do we burn apart from witches? More wishes. Holy fuck. That's a lot in one node. We're fighting riders, huh? We need assassins. Power down. Power down. What's the deal with that? What servants aren't powered down? Ah. Well, I have no applicable writer. They're all casters, man. Is everyone but casters screwed here? No. It still says that... Huh? Half level. Oof. So who isn't half level? Is it everybody? Alright, I mean, if it's for everybody, I guess I don't care. We're gonna bring Ushi Ushi? Where are you, Ushi? There you go. We'll put you here. Actually, yeah, that seems reasonable. Let's do it. Let's do it. Nope. Does this mean we made it inside? It looks like we're in a forest outside of Salem, sometime before daybreak. I mean, that is what we were trying for, but it's so dark even for night. Is everyone alright? I'm still getting my bearings here. Sure doesn't feel too hospitable, though, I'll tell you that much. Wait, why did I bring whatever. I figured it'd be pitch black inside the mist, but it's actually a lot brighter than I thought. I'm impressed, Robin. I should have known you'd have great night vision. I can barely see a thing. Do you think you could take guard duty? Sure, you got it. I'll check our watches against the stars later, to make sure we're all synced up, too. Well, that didn't take long. I've already got eyes on someone suspicious. Looks like a guy, but that's a witch if I ever saw one. Just look at his beady, evil eyes. Are you talking about me? That's Rich. If I were you, I'd hope no mistakes. No one mistakes me for a bandit and shoots me. Stop that, you two. I am so glad we've got, Matahari. You should at least try to act like performers. What if someone overheard you? Good point. Wait, what the? Nedza. Damn, you scared me. Oh, I know you. You're Crown Prince Nedza, one of the newbies. You've been standing there so still that I mistook you for a wax doll. Dolls lack capacity for thought. You show no sign of thought. Does that mean you are a doll? Ouch, that's harsh. Guess I deserved that. Sorry, just forget I said anything. Is everyone here, Mashu? Just a moment, Senpai. Slowly but surely, my eyes are starting to adjust to the dark. Over there, is that... Fuck if I can tell. Medea? It is you, right? Can you come closer, please? We need to stick together right now. I know. Ray shifting, whoever thought it was a good idea to combine magecraft and science. I don't think I'll ever get used to this feeling. Anyway, that's all 7 of us, including Senpai. Everyone, please make sure you have all your things, then we'll be on our way. Okay, let's go find the village. Man, I can't believe we're all stuck walking. You'd think Da Vinci could have planted something a little more convenient. Besides, if we had a covered wagon to ride in, it'd go a long way towards helping the locals buy what we're selling. You really do love complaining, don't you? We were only able to bring a bare minimum of equipment we need. We just have to make do with what we've got. It's always how it is with ray shifts. If we need anything else, then we procure it on site. Yeah, I know. We're traveling performers, so we don't have a whole lot up to our names. Guess I should be honored that the bard himself came up with our little bit of theater. Come to think of it, we ought to decide on a name for our merry band. Any ideas, Master? I was wondering about that too. We should figure that out before you run into anyone. Okay, let's go with the Sarah Company. The Sarah Company, huh? That's great. What's so funny? It's not all that bad. You really don't have any manners, do you? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a little too witty for you? I didn't know you great scholars were so hard-headed. I gotta say, though, don't you think that it's not all that bad is kind of condescending as praise goes? I didn't mean it like that, but now that you mention it. I know what you meant. Thank you, Ringmaster. You're very kind. Senpai, I can't help but notice that Robin and Sanson are always at each other's throats. Well, one of them is one of them's the poster boy for irreverence. Whatever. I know we prepared for it, but it's not like we're gonna... It's not like we're for sure gonna put on a play. I'd just as soon not cross that bridge if I don't have to. Don't worry, I can always entertain them with my dancing. Hell yeah, you can. Besides, we also have 2 beautiful stars right here, right? Me? I know that Nessa is an important character in many Chinese operas, like Journey to the West, but... You're not also talking about me, are you? I sure am. If I have to, I'll even bring Master up on stage. I'm game if Mashu is. Senpai! If that is your wish, Master, I shall do my best. I believe the expression is, knock them dead. That doesn't mean actually kill them. It's all pretend, got it? So don't go shooting at us, or the audience. Oh, and there's one last thing I want to make sure of. I get we're trying to explain away our outfits as being performers' costumes, but... Isn't it going to be a problem that we got some obviously Asian people here with us? I think we should be okay there. I was concerned about how Senpai would be received here, so I checked our historical records. The late 17th century was also the tail end of the Age of Exploration. At the time, most of the interest in colonization had moved to the New World. But Europe already had a strong connection to Asia, thanks to the East India Company. They regularly imported spices from Southeast Asia, textiles from India, and tea and ceramics from China. So since Salem was a British colony, and would later go on to be a thriving port town with lots of trade, the people here may not exactly see Asians every day, but they also shouldn't be so unusual that it would make them distrust us. Huh, that's so? Figures the tea would be one of the greatest British Empire's 3 base desires. Be that as it may, we should still prepare ourselves to be treated with prejudice. Indeed, what's more, we do not know for sure what the culture here is, that the culture here is the same as the 17th century Salem from our history or not. By the way, Sarah, is there a way for us to contact Chaldea here? Huh? You mean our communication device? Didn't Da Vinci explain all of this herself, Medea? I was present as an assistant myself, but I was preoccupied with making sure Senpai didn't nod off. Yes, of course, I just wanted to review the information, given how important it is. We can never return to Chaldea ever again. Huh? You're kidding, right? Don't tell me we're stuck here forever. Yes, she's kidding. Oh, Senpai. I have a special device for that purpose, though it will take time to set up. So we won't be able to report our safe arrival back to Chaldea until that's done. Can anyone at all use that device? No, only Senpai. Ordinarily, this area wouldn't permit any kind of magical communication at all. But I was told we can get around that by linking the key mechanism to Senpai's command spells. Since Senpai has a strong connection to all the servants still at Chaldea. However, this method makes use of a backdoor, a byproduct of sorts that happens when Sheba acts up. So I believe it will only be used for this particular ray shift. That said, it's not as though we're pressed for time. The important thing is that our ray shift here was successful. I see, they really thought this through. Is there something important you need to contact Chaldea about? No, I was just curious. Hold it, I see light up ahead. It's a campfire. Oh, does this mean we're already at the center of Salem? I doubt it. If that were the case, we'd be seeing fields long before even a hint of houses. There's a fair few people. I can hear them chatting amongst themselves. We gotta keep out of sight and move in for a closer look. Do you all have your white ash branches? These are our magic wands. Now it's time to rap on the door. Tap it 3 times against the earth, against the invisible door. Rat-a-tat, 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 tap. This door leads to the world beyond, and once it's open, a spirit will appear and gift us with a prophecy. What sort of prophecy, Abby? It will tell you things about the future. You desire the boy of your dreams, and also, glimpses of a far, far away world that's nothing like our own. The spirit will whisper what you must do to make your dreams come true. I want a dress that's even whiter than snow, something that's sure to catch his eye. I want to be a brunette, with hair dark as raven's feathers. What color is your hair right now? Looks pretty dark to me. I want to know who I'm going to marry one day. Ah. Okay then, everyone. Make your wish as... Oh, I guess that was like a happy eek, maybe. Like, oh, the man of my dreams. Okay then, everyone. Make your wish as you throw your wands into the fire. Shall we sing Tituba's magical spell too? Yes, let's. Let's shall. Okay, what the hell is all that? They look like they're girls from the village, but they're all acting, well, crazy. Oh, look how much fun they're having dancing. I wish I could join them. But what are girls that young doing out this late at night? Could it be a trap, or some sort of magecraft ritual? Do you sense any magical energy, Medea? No, but... Oh, this is bad, very bad. What is? If anything, the opposite. I sense nothing since we came here. Our magecraft has been severely weakened. Here, let me prove it. Robin, Sanson, Dancing Girl, can you change into your spirit forms? No, I can't. What's going on here? Oh no, are you no longer servants? Don't tell me you've been incarnated. No, that's not what this is. It feels more like I've been crammed into a temporary human body than anything. I thought the Spiritron conversion felt a little weird, even after the ray shift. Man, this is gonna be a real pain in the ass. Who goes there? Huh? Who are you? Robin, lower your bow. It's just a child. Damn it, I let my guard down when we got here. She overheard what we were just talking about. Hi there, young lady. What brings you out here? You are outsiders. Senpai. Are those girls over there friends of yours? Friends? We don't have any friends. Hello there. I'm so sorry if we startled you. As you saw, that scene is not yet ready for the performance. But don't worry, we're not. That accent. Are you a French soldier? A fugitive? I have to get out of here. Uh-oh, she ran off into the woods. You there. Sanson, Mashi, wait. We can deal with her later. Something's going on near the campfire. Master. Stay together, everyone. They'll pick you off if we get separated. What's going on? Why are there wild beasts so close to the village? Come on, Abby, let's get out of here. Wait, let me get a piece of firewood, otherwise... We have to stay together. Get back. Huh? Man, these New World beasties sure are rowdy. Who are you? Just an old dummy who didn't realize he'd been surrounded by wild beasts, young lady. Too bad none of them seem like they'd make a good dinner. Hell, they look hungrier than we are. Demonic presence. These beasts. Beasts no longer. Ringmaster. You don't mind if we throw down with these things, right? Wait, Ringmaster. We need to help these girls first. Can't have these things acquiring a taste for people. Get out front, Sanson, and watch your back. You really have no shame, do you? Good. Argue amongst yourselves. Meanwhile, I will defeat them. First battle, and we are an hour and 13 minutes in. Crazy! Wow. Crazy wolves! Crazy wolves! Feel like I'm just beating up on the wild animals. Woohoo! Damn it, I thought that would kill at least one of them. Oh well. Sorry, I'm always tired. I don't mean nothing by it. I see 3 wolfies. Is one of them wolfier than the others? Yes. Yes, we are going to slice you, wolfie! PETA has entered the chat. Oh no! Because they don't seem to understand the difference between fiction and reality either. Nope, I got plenty of sleep. I'm just always tired. Oh yeah. I love how we got the subtitles now. That last one is tricky. It doesn't want to go down. wants free real estate.
つまらん。
やれやれ。
無駄だ。
そこだ。
犠牲が少なければそれでも勝利。
We killed some doggos. And done. I'll go ahead with Master. You guys finish up here. What's going on here? It's lucky that these creatures weren't too strong, but it seems our strength has been halved? Indeed, this strange false incarnation has more dire effects than I thought. At this point, we may as well be human. You might be in for some tough battles down the road. Enkidu is FRA. What? Wait, what about Fire Emblem games in Langrisser? They have what? Yes, it is difficult. But worry not, Sanson. The Buddha always watches and protects in forsaken lands. That's very reassuring, Nedza. How did it feel to you, Medea? Oh wait, did you sit that battle out? So it only affects combat. What is it, Medea? Don't tell me you're upset that we beat them before you could. True, we may have overdone it. That albino girl saw us fighting. I see, that could be very bad. Do we silence her? Be careful how you say things, Netza. I'm merely worried about one of those beasts attacking her. I'm going to take a look around. Okay, I'll examine these beasts in the meantime. I like how Medea seems very unenthused. Yeah, the English dub. Are you alright, Senpai? Senpai? Oh, I mean... Thank you for helping us. We couldn't have escaped from those mean beasts otherwise. You saved our lives. Sanson, Neza, and Medea are putting out the campfire. They'll be here soon. Oh goodness. Are you okay? Here, I've got you. I'm sorry, now that we're out of danger, I was just so relieved that my legs gave out. I'm Sarah, can I ask your name? Sarah. Of course, I'm Abigail. I live here in Salem. Who are these people? You don't look like sailors or merchants. We almost never get pilgrims or travelers here. And you're all wearing such strange clothes. We're the Sarah Company, a band of traveling performers. This is Sarah. She may be young, but she's still the ringmaster our troupe is named after. We got lost on our way to Salem and ended up here in the woods. Performers? Oh wow. You mean you came all this way from Boston? That's wonderful. I've never seen a real play before. Everyone's going to be so happy. By the way, do you know today's date, Abigail? Oh, please call me Abby, Miss Ringmaster. Today's date? Well, it's already past midnight, so that would make it April 21st. Yesterday was the Sabbath. The year, too? Oh, it's the year of our Lord, 1692. 1692, of all the years to come to Salem. Abigail, who are these people? Oh, Uncle. I don't know what you were thinking, taking other children out into the woods in the middle of the night. But I'll deal with that later. Yes, Uncle. As for these people, Uncle, they're... Well now, traveling performers, hmm? The other girls tell me you saved them from a pack of wild beasts. And you are the troupe's ringmaster. Ah, Miss Sarah, you must let me express my thanks. Let's see, it would be quite difficult to find a decent inn in Salem at this hour, and I can't have such upstanding young men and women staying at the same flop house as those ruffians from the wharf. Why don't you all come stay at my home, if that's alright with you? That sounds great, thank you. Wow. Do you mean it, Uncle? That's wonderful. It's the best news I've heard in my whole life. That's enough, Abigail. I'm not that much of a hard-ass. You put all your friends in terrible danger. Once we get home, we will go straight to your room. You will have only water tomorrow for your breakfast and lunch. And of course, you are forbidden to speak to our guests until I give you permission. Sounds like child abuse. Okay, I understand. I will do as you say. Oh yes, I still haven't introduced myself. I am Randolph Carter, a scholar. I adopted Abigail as my own daughter after her parents, my sister and her husband, passed away. Now then, it's getting rather chilly, and we can talk more tomorrow. You'll feel much better after you've rested up from your journey in a nice, warm bed. I'll have Tituba fix you something to eat, too. What? What? To the Carter residence. No battles, just a fuck ton of story. Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. There we go. Something tells me you wouldn't normally be here. Whew. Thank you for fetching the water, Tituba. I guess that will be my lunch today. Oh, please cheer up, Miss Abby. Where are our guests? Inside. Uncle went off to see the Reverend. I'm sure I'll be scolded again later. I see, I'm sorry to hear that. No, it's not racist. She seems like a goddess or some shit. In fact, I'm curious how you pronounce that.
Tituba, Salem Witch Trials. Tituba, Salem.
Tituba, Salem Witch Trials.
Is that an automated voice? That sounds kind of cute.
Tituba, Salem Witch Trials. Tituba, Salem Witch Trials.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Tituba. You're just being dirty. That's what. That's what. Man, I have a lot of people following me on Twitch, but like nobody actually watching my stuff. There's like 2 or 3 people at any given time. How's the comm coming along, Mashu? I double-checked everything, Senpai, but I'm afraid... It's not working? Well, that's not good. I guess not even Da Vinci's inventions are always work perfectly. What are you, scarfing? Neza, try swallowing your oatmeal before you speak. Come to think of it, weren't you supposed to be, you know, smarter? Because stuffing your face when you're a guest in someone's home isn't really a good look, you know? Especially when it's a village that doesn't exactly seem to be overflowing with wealth. Besides, oats are for horses, not people. There's usually not enough activity in Twitch chat. I apologize. But if there were more people in there and more people using the chat, it's a weird double standard. It's tricky, but still, only 3 people. It's like, what? YouTube doesn't have as much lag. That's impressive. Good to know. Besides, oats are for horses, not people. I could do a much better job preparing this dish, even with the same ingredients. This village just doesn't have the luxury of caring about food. I do feel hunger in this body. It must be an effect of this false incarnation. Of course, I expect we'd be regarded with suspicion if we were never seen eating. Oh, I acknowledge all you guys. I think it's wonderful to have the YouTube chat. I'm just surprised that I have so many people following me on Twitch, but none of them actually show up. Try not to be so uptight about it. It'll make things a lot easier if we go around playing up our image as a bunch of weirdos. I was actually able to check out the entire village. I also spread word about our troop a bit, so make sure you guys play along. You already finished investigating the area? It's not even afternoon yet. Way to go, sis. Like you always say, first things first. So what is the story with this village? Like Abby said, this is definitely Salem in 1692. All the villagers' stories line up. They're Puritans who originally hail from England. Most of them are farmers, fishers, and hunters, but there's also blacksmiths and cloth dyers, not to mention the Reverend. They're all industrious colonialists who wake up with the sun and spend their days hard at work. Just to spite me. There are a number of warehouses at the wharf, along with boats headed for England and the West Indies. Huh? That doesn't line up with our history. Salem didn't get a major wharf until... Did you say boats, as in sailors? Medea? I mean, that certainly makes sense, given this is a port town. You kind of seemed like Lily for a moment there. Don't you lump me in with that child. I guess there must have been an error in Sheba's observations, but still. I noticed other deviations from our history, too. People still live their lives here just like they did in our own late 17th century. But not all the same people. Oh, but they're not all the same people. There are lots of folks here who weren't on the list of Salem's original residents. I haven't yet managed to figure out what it is they have in common, though. Ah, I see. I see. Guess that means this isn't the Salem of our past. For my part, I scoped out the local topography around sunrise. And while the distinctive topography and architecture is still all there, the rest seems kinda off. There's a bunch of stuff that doesn't line up with the historical files Chaldea gave us. Then, as we suspected, this village is actually a cunningly crafted fake. So whoever built this place is only using 17th century Salem as a cover, and has swapped out both the buildings and the citizens? Doesn't this mean that there's major Doesn't this mean there's major historical change on par with a singularity from the incineration of humanity taking place? That's a loaded sentence. What about the people living in modern Salem? That's just it. There can't be more than 16, maybe 1,700 people here. I didn't see any place that could be used to keep 50,000 people who disappeared. 50,000 people. I wonder where they could have gone. And that's not our only major problem. There's also the witch trials. In our own history, 1692 was the very year when the accusations that started the witch trials began. This is a peaceful village, or at least it looked that way on the surface. But I did also see farmers arguing pretty fiercely about who owned certain lands. They looked like they were nursing some major frustrations underneath their pious exteriors. I don't blame the girls here for wanting to step out and let their hair down for a bit, like they did last night. I took a peek at their grain stores, and it didn't look like they had much to spare. They must have had a string of poor crops. Seemed to me like they just barely made it through the winter. This house just happens to be on the more preposterous side. There aren't many homes here that could accommodate guests. For that matter, What if the images we got from Sheba were falsified? I can't deny that's a possibility, but... My oh my. Are you already discussing your next performance? I hope that means you slept well, honored guests. Oh, Tituba, right? That's right. My name is Tituba. I'm Mr. Carter's servant. A servant? Her? I apologize for prying, Tituba, but may I ask? You wish to know where I'm from? I was born on the island of Barbados, in the Caribbean. A lot of people like me were. I may work for Mr. Carter now. But I used to work for Mr. Abby's father. We were told that Abigail's parents passed away. That's right. They were both killed by native people in the forest. Miss Abby was very sad about it for a long time. I felt terrible for her. I don't know what would have become of her if her uncle hadn't come along. She's doing much better these days. It's wonderful to see her smiling and happy again, but... Now I hear she was nearly killed by wild beasts in the woods. She must have been frightened out of her mind. Wait. Almost halfway on the other singularity. Can't pronounce it all, but it's... Shimosa? Killed by the natives? Native Americans? So this is why Geronimo said he would be putting Master in unnecessary danger if he came along. Most people would be pretty wary of outsiders after having their parents killed. But not her. She still seems real trusting. Yes, she really is a very kind girl. She even goes out of her way to talk to servants like myself. I hope you don't mind if we ask another question. Last night, there was another girl besides Abigail's friends who... Oh, would you look at the time? I'm so sorry, but I need to get back to work. I hope you enjoy your stay. Thanks for the food. Master, a word if you don't mind. What do you make of that servant? That she was suspiciously good looking? You mean prematurely... What kind of a word did I just read here? Preternaturally beautiful? Never heard of that word before. No, I thought she was rather homely. Is something wrong, Medea? It's not safe to say here. This place is being subjected to something more powerful than we realize. Really? I'd like to say this place brings back some nice memories. The wind whistling through the gaps in the walls, the sour smell of horse shit. Dude. The head-splitting sound of church bells, the bland, pasty food, the boring British small talk. Those hardly sound like pleasant memories. At any rate, don't forget that we have a duty to help those missing 50,000 people, Robin. Alright, sorry, almost forgot about Frog Legs here, hopping along after us. Would you care to say that again? Now don't start that again, you two. Tituba didn't do anything wrong. Why are you doing this? I think that came from outside. That was Abby's voice. Guess the head of the house is back. Step aside, Abigail. I'm the one who deserves to be punished, Uncle, not her. Didn't you say that yourself? Miss Abby. The other girls and their parents say otherwise. They say that Tituba taught you a heretical ritual, and that you all snuck out last night to attempt it. I had them promise to keep quiet about that, so the rumors don't spread around the village. What in the world are you doing in the forest in the middle of the night, Abigail? Is something wrong, Mr. Carter? Have I ever seen the Crucible? No, I haven't. I have not. Miss Sarah, I'm afraid my niece was doing something even worse than I believed last night. Actually, you know what? That sounds really fucking familiar, but it would have been ages if I did. Unfortunately, I can no longer permit her to attend your production. What? But that's not fair. Come on, we were all kids once, right? This is no mere mischief to be simply excused. It is fortunate you were there to ensure no one was hurt. But Tituba must be punished, and harshly, for filling the children's heads with this nonsense. She will no longer be permitted to be in their company. Punished? No, Uncle, please. She only told me because I begged her to. Please, Uncle, punish me instead. I'll take whatever punishment you see fit, even lashes, so please. It's okay, Miss Abby. It'll be all right. If I may, Mr. Carter, I understand how frustrating it must be to have a young girl under your charge, running off at night. You must have been worried sick about Abby to have come in so deep into the woods, searching for her. Wasn't The Crucible also a book, though? Actually, yeah, I think I read the book. That said, I know that wild beasts sometimes go after livestock, but I thought they usually stayed away from people these days. That's true, but it's not just beasts we need to worry about. The nearby forest is very dangerous. Some even say that this land is cursed, that God himself has forsaken our village. Abigail? Abigail? She just ran off. Mr. Carter. Leave her be. As for you, Tituba, you are no longer to talk about your hometown, no matter how much the other girls beg you, is that clear? Yes, Mr. Carter. I promise I won't do it again. I'm so sorry about this. It's a play! Yes! Yes, gosh! When I was in, like, 7th... Actually, no, it was high school. So was that, maybe 10th grade. Gosh. So we're talking 2000... like 2005, maybe? We read The Crucible. The only part I seem to remember was when they were interrogating, and I think there was a husband and his wife, and they were trying to keep their lies in order, but the wife didn't or something. It was hard to say. God, that's a blast from the past. It was really fucked up. Remember when Abby was 17? What? John Proctor and his wife. Yeah, this is so old that I have like tiny little memories. That's pretty cool. What should we do, Senpai? What do you think? No, we need to look for clues about the demon god. I'll at least sound somewhat competent. Oh, gosh. Yeah, the adultery thing. I don't think I even knew what that word meant back then. Whoops. I couldn't agree more. Something is definitely happening here. I see. So we'll split up into teams and investigate the village further. Understood. Okay, would you fucking... Who gave you... Oh my god. I've got software on my computer that just feels like starting up whenever the fuck it wants and running scans on my computer. I need to... Our goal is to find someone trustworthy. Alright, Nezza, what do you say we go check out the ocean? Detection ability, full power. I'll stay in Mr. Carter's house, Master. It'll be dangerous to go around dressed like this anyway. And there's something nagging me about Tituba. I'll keep an eye on Mr. Carter, too, while I'm at it. Got it. Sounds good. Well, just so you know, fate. Learning the Crucible will help you understand a little bit about fate. Gosh, more story. The FBI's here. Ain't nobody looting no lollies yet. Those must be the traveling performers. What were they thinking, coming all this way to perform in a village like this? What a disgraceful outfit. I could never let my child see that. Hey, we found Twitter! We found Twitter! I hope they put on a play about a romance between aristocrats. Hi there, young man. I hope you'll come out to see the Sarah Company perform. Thought I was used to being stared at, but this is something altogether different. Remember, we're supposed to be entertainers, so you can't get angry no matter what they say to you. I know, but I can't help being French. I'm just as out of place here. Besides, you can pass as an educated gentleman as long as you keep quiet. In my case, I just come across as a Roma who came to the New World to make my fortune. These villagers may not care for British Army, or for the British Army, but they don't have much love for the French either. In fact, this British settlement and France are currently at odds with one another. Only 40 miles north, the French army led Native Americans against a northern British colony, completely wiping it out. Naturally, the British retaliated, and the respective colonies ended up fighting a fearsome battle. The competition for resources is fierce between colonies. War is all but inevitable. Truth be told, my great-grandfather, the first head of our family, was part of the French colonial army himself. He was deployed to Canada, but he must have taken part in skirmishes around this area as well. I see. No wonder you have such complex feelings about this place. Retaliation after retaliation. Soldiers sacrificing their lives to avenge the loss of their commanders. Is that why you and Robin are always arguing? You really should stop taking shots at him. You're barking up the wrong tree there. He's the one who keeps provoking me. And you're at least partially to blame for that. As long as you're going to be working together, you'll need to find ways to get along. Sometimes other people just have their own way of doing things, and that's okay. I'm trying to be as accommodating as I can. Oh, isn't that? Yes, that's the girl we saw last night. I've been looking for her, too. You really don't look like you belong in this town. I can't believe. A what? A Waddley is out? And about in broad daylight. You've got a lot of nerve coming out here when you never show your face at church. I'm just going to buy whale oil. Whale oil? And just what are you going to do with that? Are you going to use it for another blasphemous spell, or... Pardon me, has this girl wronged you somehow? Who are you? Oh, you're one of those traveling performers. That's right, my name is Sanson. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Tell me, what possible use would this girl have for oil besides lighting a lantern? What could she possibly have done to warrant such treatment? What business of it is it of yours? Charles, we just talked about this. Are you threatening me? No, that was not my intention. I apologize if I offended you. What a strange man. Stupid piece of shit. He's gone now. Well, I guess that worked out in the end. So you do live in this village. The fugitive from last night? Your performers? That's right, I'm sorry for frightening you. She hasn't let her guard down at all. Would you mind if we asked you about what happened last night? Anything you could tell us would be a big help. It really surprised us, seeing something like that happen right after we got here. Did Abby say something to you? Oh, so you're a friend of Abigail's. That makes this easier. Stop it. Nobody's friends with me. Yes, that was a Cornholio voice. Are you threatening me? I love Beavis and Butthead. They're so fucking stupid. I really go for, like, idiot humor like that. Lavinia, My name is Lavinia Waddley. Jesus Christ. How the hell am I going to pronounce these names? Oh, it's a Lovecraft name. Okay. Okay.
Lavinia Waitley.
Waitley.
Lavinia Waitley.
Whiteley.
Lavinia Waitley.
Lavinia Whiteley.
Lavinia Waitley.
I can't tell. I'm gonna say Lavinia Waitley. It makes so much sense. It makes so much more sense. I got a subscriber. Everyone in Salem knows my family and hates them. Do you think that old man was just yelling at me for no reason? God, look at the fucking horn. Oh! The horn just got bigger! That's scary. He wasn't. The whole village just hates what we're doing. I don't blame him. So your family is tying you down. I'm Charles Henri Sanson. I may be French, but I'm not your enemy. Are you defending me? Why are you being nice to me? Is it because of how I look? I'm an albino, a freak, a living skeleton. All your albinism means is that you were born without enough melanin. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm pretty fucking pale myself. It's just a part of who you are. I don't find it ugly at all. However, it would behoove you to eat better, if you don't mind me saying so. You're an idiot. If you want your show to succeed here, you should stay away from me. Would never charge admission to children. Isn't that right, Matahari? Of course not. We hope to see you at our show, Lavinia. If you like, we'd even be happy to provide a seat where you can watch in privacy without worrying about the rest of the audience. Then, I just have one request. What's that? Don't tell Abby I was there last night. If you do, I'll tell everyone else what I saw. I'll tell them you used magecraft to kill those beasts. I saw the whole thing. Why is she so certain about that? So you wish to keep your presence a secret from Abigail, do you? I can see that this is very important to you. So, what will you do? Alright, we promise we won't tell her. Don't talk to me again, okay? I'm afraid we can't promise that. Guess we've got a problem on our hands. Could an ordinary child be so unbothered after seeing a fight like that? The Waitley family, I think we'd better look into them as well. That's all well and good, but you kind of looked to me like you cared more about her than her possible connection to the demon god pillar. Are you sure we can trust her? I am, yes. Really now. Well, never mind that for the time being. Let's go report this to Master. I wonder how Robin and the others are doing. Robin, suggestion, listen. What is it, Prince Neza? If you got something secret to tell me, make it quick. Because there's a sweet little tavern over there with my name on it. On duty. Drink not, want not. I mean, Robin, listen, I have a suggestion. Yeah, what is it already? This area, strange, unrealistic, therefore no sense in sneaking. We capture villagers, question them individually. Rational, efficient. We can handle, anyone who resists. Concern unnecessary. Aha, I see. No wonder you were cast in a period piece. Naturally. So you're kind of chafing under the whole slow, methodological investigation thing, yeah? I don't blame you. If we wanted to run in and start throwing our weight around to find out what we're looking for quickly, we could do that. We're servants, and they're just ordinary people. They'd be way easier to handle than monsters. That said, I won't pretend like I've got everything all figured out, but even though we can feel the runaway demon god pillar's aura all around us, we're still trying to figure out what's really going on here. You still haven't been at Chaldea all that long. You weren't with us traveling back in time during the restoration of humanity. Back then, we had to be real careful not to interfere too much, or we could have ended up changing history. There's little chance of that happening here, but we still have to be careful. Careful not to bring along anything that didn't exist in this time, so we could get in here to begin with. And we're dealing with this false incarnation nonsense. This false incarnation nonsense weakening us. If we just stormed in and made enemies out of the whole town, we might have wound up dead. They could have brought a whole militia against us or something. We always had the option of brute force where necessary in other singularities, but here I think that might actually work. That might actually be the worst thing we could do. I'm pretty sure Master's picked up on this too, you know. If you were to ask her, she'd tell you violence isn't the answer here in Salem. It's kind of like we're trying to make our own way through dense fog with someone else trying to hold on our lifeline. Dunno about you, but I sure don't want to accidentally break one of this world's rules we don't yet know about and just get knocked right off the stage. As long as we don't know who we're up against, it's best to act like each step could be our last. Besides, we're out here trying to keep these people safe, remember? This is a peaceful village of innocent people. We have no call to go around hurting them, right? Pondering, reconsidering. Understood. We'll play along. Really? Awesome. Glad to see you can listen, unlike a certain frog I could mention. That says female? But they just said prince. I'm really confused. Right then, let's try some of that Caribbean imported rum. No drinking. Hinders investigation. Out of the question. Come on, you're kidding, right? Don't get all straight-laced on me now, Your Highness. Oh, so it's just a gender bend kind of thing. Like Artoria, King Arthur and all that shit. So the sea is right past those wheat fields. This whole area must be grassland. I read that land like this is that's shared and managed by the whole village is called a common here. This should be the side Abby ran off to. I wonder where she could be now. By the way, Senpai, did you think there was something a little strange about Medea? I thought I was just imagining things before we ray-shifted, but now... Yeah, but where'd the body come from? Hello, Kanogi. You know, she was acting strange. So you thought so too, then? She just doesn't seem like herself, somehow. At first, I thought she might be upset about how we asked her to come to a place that's best known for its witch trials. When she was eager to help me, she set the comm device. She set up the comm device last night. Except, I forgot what the deal with Neza is because she sounds more like a fucking robot. I'm just not sure what to think anymore. I trust your intuition, Mashu. Senpai, thank you, I appreciate that. Of course, I hope I'm wrong about this. We made it through the bounded field and into Salem. No matter how peaceful the scenery may be, this is still enemy territory. It's eminently possible we've played into their hands without realizing it. Look, there's a gold rabbit hopping around there. Huh? Where did that come from? A gold rabbit? Where is it? Wait, that's not a gold rabbit. That's golden hair. It's Abby. Ugh, don't tease me like that, senpai. Is it gay if Da Vinci fell in love with you? No. Because if someone falls in love with you, that doesn't mean you fall in love with them. I don't know. I haven't heard enough, like, actual voice acting from Neza to know. Oh, hello, Miss Ringmaster. Hello, Mashu. Did you come all this way looking for me? I'm sorry for running off like that. I promise I'll go home soon. I would just like to stay out here a little longer. Abby. I'm sorry I made someone as wonderful and as nice as you worry, Mashu. I know it was all my fault. I wouldn't say it's hesitation, more so consideration. I had to think about that. And I know that Uncle is just being sensible. He's completely right. I was thoughtless, and I put all my friends in danger. I even ended up getting Tituba in awful trouble when she didn't do anything wrong, and after she told me such wonderful tales from her homeland, too. After all that, I shouldn't be allowed to watch your show like I did nothing wrong. I don't know what to say to her. Is there any way we can cheer her up, Senpai? Why don't we take a little walk? A walk? Okay, I love going on walks. There's a path to the beach down that hill over there. The wind's not too cold today, so I bet it's perfect weather for a walk. It's really nice out, right? Yes, it's lovely. Oh, I almost forgot. Uncle said I'm not supposed to talk to the guests. What about talking to friends? Oh yes, that's a wonderful idea. You're fun, Miss Ringmaster. What are some of your favorite things, Abby? My favorite things? I'm so glad you asked, Miss Ringmaster. I have so many it's hard to keep track. Let's see, one of them is definitely pancakes. Get pancakes! I adore fluffy pancakes with lots of butter and crispy bacon on top. Fuck, I'm hungry! Need to hit up like a fucking Denny's because all the breakfast places are closed. I got a follower on the Twitches. Oh, and more than anything, I loved mashed potatoes covered with piping hot gravy. Fuck! Do the choices ever matter? I don't think so. There's nothing better than that. That does sound incredibly delicious. Gravy, huh? I've heard of it before, but I've never actually had it. What's it like? You telling me fucking Emiya hasn't given you gravy? That bastard. He's probably just giving you only like a select few Japanese cuisine like he does with Saber. Meanwhile, there's so many foods I'm sure Saber would just like freak out over. That's what's cool about Saber Alter. She gets all the junk food. Oh goodness, Mashu. You've never had gravy before? Do they not make it in Europe? It's a scrumptious sauce made using the juices from cooked meat. The grown-ups all like to put it on turkey and steak, but I really love it on pancakes. I had a reasonable amount of gravy, I suppose. It's only the kind of thing you have it's not the kind of thing you have every day, either. You only get to enjoy it on Thanksgiving. It's too bad you and the rest of the Sarah Company didn't come along during the holiday, Miss Ringmaster. It has been a while since we celebrated anything, though. I see, I'm sorry to hear that. Still, the meal that Tituba made for us was very good in its own right. I'd never had porridge before either, so it was quite novel. It's okay, Mashu, I understand. You don't have to be so polite. Tituba does the best she can with what little we have. But I know that porridge isn't something season travelers like you would really love. I'm sorry, I guess you saw right through me. Tituba cares a lot about being frugal, though I'm not sure why. Maybe it has to do with her own beliefs? So when she makes... Sorry, just checking on the dog. So when she makes porridge, she'll water down the milk and skip a lot on the honey. I'm not sure if Uncle just doesn't mind or if he likes how she saves him money, but she never says a word about it. Huh. There are so many things Salem is missing. Do you like this village, Abby? Oh, you want to know how I feel about Salem? Nobody's ever asked me that before. I'm not quite sure how to answer. Were you born here, Abby? Yes, I was. There was a comet in the sky the year I was born. It was so big, you could see it even during the day. I don't remember seeing it myself, but I'm sure it must have been a wonderful sight. Anyway, I'm sure Salem pales in comparison to some place like Boston. But even this town has a lot going for it. Uncle told me that its name comes from the word Jerusalem. You know about Jerusalem, right? Every good Christian does. It's the holy city that was once ruled by both King David and King Solomon. Well, we do know about that. Why don't you have your girl voice the female characters? 'Cause she's never home. The Knights of the Crusades headed east to find it, but our Pilgrim Fathers set sail for the west instead. Ari-chan still has to get through Shimosa. When they arrived at the New World, they founded the towns of Plymouth, Boston, and Salem. It must have been really hard when they first arrived, but now, ships come here from all around the world. And you saw how big our rye fields are, right? Can you believe this all used to be woodland once? God was kind enough to let us put down roots and settle here. We're truly blessed. You're very proud about being part of a pioneer village, aren't you? Of course I am. It's where I was born and raised, after all. Isn't everyone proud of where they grew up? Yes, that's right. I think I can understand how you feel, if only a little. This is how history was made, after all. Plus, at this time, New England was still a British colony, and hadn't yet declared its independence as America. America? Who's that? Oh, I'm sorry, just forget I said anything. The people of Type Moon, the characters are written. They don't know how to shut up! That's right, the people of Salem are still technically British, even if they did become colonists to seek their independence. I have to remember that they're not servants, and don't have any modern-day knowledge. Have you been anywhere besides Salem, Abby? Well, no, not yet. I haven't left Salem in my whole life. Really? Not even once? No, not even once. It's okay. I appreciate you being here. They probably had porridge. Everything I know about Boston I heard from others. I'm sorry for misleading you. I just love hearing about other towns and other countries. Say, Miss Ringmaster, you and your company have performed all over Europe and the colonies, right? What sort of show did you put on in Boston? Did you stop by Jamestown, too? Is it true that New York has stores where you can buy tea and porcelain from the Orient? Oh, I really wish I could see your show, but since I can't, could you at least tell me about the different countries you've been to? Would that be alright, Senpai? Sure, we can't tell you everything, though. Really? That's wonderful. Thank you, Miss Ringmaster. That's great. I love hearing about foreign countries, too. How do you feel about your uncle? Uncle Carter's very responsible, and quiet, and strict. Everyone in the village is very pious, but I think they are also very stubborn, and they don't like to admit when they've made a mistake. But when Uncle starts talking to them in his calm voice, they always seem to accept what he says. I see, so the other villagers really trust him, don't they? Yes, they do. He teaches at Harvard Divinity School in Boston, after all. He studies the Orient there. I don't really know what he researches. But he always has fascinating things to share about foreign countries. He's told me some really unusual stories about faraway lands. Like the Qing Dynasty, I think. In the Mughal Empire, and a place called Zipang. They're all so fascinating. I see, it sounds like your uncle is where your love for foreign countries came from then. I guess he must be. Well, I do love hearing stories like that, but my very favorite thing is when I tell them to my friends, and let my imagination run wild. I especially enjoy telling them to Lavinia. She's always so interested to hear them. Lavinia, is that a friend of yours? Yes, she's the same age as me, So she was also born in the year of the comet. She's the best. I always love talking with her. None of the other girls have much interest in foreign countries, so they only ever ask boring questions. Ah, did not know that. But Lavinia loves to read, so she knows all sorts of things. Sometimes I even think she knows more than Uncle. Sometimes we even come here to watch the sea together. But did you and Lavinia have a fight or something? Yes, this time you saw right through me, Miss Ringmaster. I must have upset her somehow because lately she just won't talk to me. I asked her about it, but she kept refusing to answer, so after a while I got upset too. But she's still my best, most cherished friend. Being apart has helped me realize that. I noticed there were a number of friends of yours at the secret gathering last night, though. Does that mean Lavinia wasn't among them? I secretly sent her an invitation, but she never showed up, just like I knew she wouldn't. I wonder, could that girl be the one who ran off in the forest? I talked to Tituba about this, and she gave me some advice. She told me to be honest with myself and think about whether I'd done something to hurt her without knowing or meaning to. She recommended I ask myself 3 questions. So, what were they? First, have I pretended to be someone I'm not? Second, have I jumped to any conclusions about her? And third, have I been neglecting to pay attention to tomorrow because I'm still pursuing a grudge from yesterday? Tituba said that? I see. After that, I realized there were a lot of things Lavinia could be angry at me for, and I don't know what to apologize for first. May I say something? Does Lavinia have white hair? And a very pale skin? Yes, that's right. Have you already met her, Mashu? Yes, I actually saw her in the forest last night. I guess I hadn't told you yet. Really? Do you mean it? Then she showed up after all. I'm so glad. I'm just sorry I didn't notice she was there. Now I have something else to apologize to her about. So that was Lavinia, huh? Wow, so you saw her too, Miss Ringmaster? Some people tease her about the way she looks. Some go even further and say she looks downright sickly. But I think she's beautiful. She looks just like a star fairy, don't you think? If you ever make fun of her, I'll never forgive you. Don't worry, neither Senpai nor any of us would ever do that. Hey look, I can see a sailboat on the other side of the pasture. It sounds kind of heated over there. I can hear people shouting angrily. Did a new ship just dock? The sailors can be kind of rough. The wharf is just past this grassland, but... Ugh! Senpai, that was a gunshot. It came from the direction of the wharf. I hope it's not a mutiny. It's the Indians. The Indians are attacking. Huh? From the sea? Didn't one of ours head for the wharf? Yes, I believe Rama and Neza did. Abby, are you alright? Let's get you back to the village before... Abby? Outside. Can't go outside. Outside Salem, nothing but pain and suffering. Everyone who comes from outside is... Damn Oriental! Who do you think you are, pointing your blade at me? You ain't leaving here alive until now, until you get down on the floor and beg for mercy. A blade? Preposterous. Third-rate seaman. The true blade of my fire-tipped spear is red-hot flame. Your flimsy arms, will they continue to blunder? The next strike will be no mere scratch. The hell? This wench is off her rocker. And where the hell did she get that thing from anyway? That was amazing. Did she just deflect our shots? Was that magic? Are you acrobats or something? No, not acrobat. I am martial artist. Yeah. Sorry about this, gents. Would you mind putting away those scary-looking muskets and knives now? We were just trying to relax before our big show. I hope you can understand. Oi, you're the ones who started it. And I absolutely understand you're upset, but we can just keep it cool since this is a tavern and all. What's the big idea, Neza? What are you trying to pull here? You would have remained silent in the face of such shame? Are you two fighting? Indeed, affirmative, of course. Now is the time. Let's slip the dogs of war. Ringmaster? Glad to see someone else with their head on straight here. Go on, talk some sense into this idiot. These seamen, the root of evil, therefore, I shall cut them down where they stand. Oh yeah? You're still on about that wench? You're trying to draw in customers, you're doing a terrible job. What are you supposed to be, anyway? Another Oriental or something? That's right, I'm talking to you. See, you're the ringmaster, eh? What kind of company are you running, letting your freaks run wild like this? So, what exactly happened here, anyway? Please listen, master. To begin, once we entered this tavern, Matcha there sat at a gambling table, began drinking. Hey now! Whatever became of the mission? He lost at dice, more and more, even demanded I bet our travel expenses. Whoa! Keep that to yourself! Nothing better to do, so I followed his example, joined him, gambling table. Had no idea what I was doing. Beer was so bad, it was undrinkable. Then, at my lowest moment, third-rate seaman gestured towards me, called me a prostitute, and began touching near my waist. That I did not mind. He did treat me to some milk. You didn't mind? Next, he made me sit on his lap, told me to pour him another glass. That sort of frivolity I also do not mind. You sure you don't mind even a little? I do not mind, however. The seaman remained in high spirits, yet as he kept drinking, burst into tears. He began to complain. He said that my body is... Can you believe? This body given to me by Taiyi Zenran himself. How dare this man appraise this body as sad? How dare he? That's what bothers you about this? That's about when I couldn't take it anymore and tried to go smooth things over. According to that sailor, Nez is so light that he figured she wasn't eating well enough. And that got him thinking about the kid he left behind in his own country. Damn it, dude. He's one of those assholes who's like, you need to eat a sandwich. No! Yeah, that's right. You got a problem with that? So why the hell does wench of yours go and pull a weapon on me? Oh, don't worry about it too much, young ringmaster. This guy's just a big old lecher. He was just trying to get your wench, to feel sorry for him, so he could take her to bed. He does it all the time. Sure ain't much to be fun to be had in a Puritan port town like this, after all. Yeah, neither we sailors nor you performers belong here, so we might as well get along. True, Robin was out of line. He'll apologize. Me? What did I do? Not keep a close enough eye on her? Yeah, alright, I had a feeling it might go this way. What's going on? What was all the commotion about? I rushed here as fast as I could, but all I see now is people drinking happily. Come on, what happened here anyway? I see, I suppose I understand. I'm just glad matters were resolved before they got out of hand. Performers, huh? If the storm out in the bay keeps us stuck here, maybe we'll go see a show for ourselves. A storm? Has there been a stretch of poor weather out in the bay? Is that why you're all hanging out in this tavern? You got it, Specs. Gotta say though, I'm surprised you even thought to come to perform here in Salem at all. What sort of show you'll be putting on? Oh well, we were thinking of... Hold it, all of you. I want to hear what you have to say too. They say you're going around telling everyone you're traveling performers, but I don't buy it. Ringmaster, that guy's been sitting in the corner for a while now. He's one of the villagers, not a sailor. I run a general store here in Salem. I've been to Boston a number of times, but I've never seen any entertainers like you before. I know there's a lot of strange folk in the theater, but no one who would ever come to Salem looking to get rich. Unless you're secretly up to something dirty, shameless business, like that sailor said. For that matter, you're awfully young to be a troop leader. How many shows have you performed anyway? This will be our first. What was that? Whoa, it's not what it sounded like. She means this will be our first time performing with our current members, naturally. Another problem on our hands, huh? Ringmaster, please let me handle this. I have some notes from Chaldea for situations just like this. Sir, I can see you care deeply about this town, and I understand your concerns. But I assure you that despite our appearances, we at the Sarah Company are good, God-fearing people. What? We may not be Puritans or Quakers, but we always perform with gratitude for all of God's blessings. We pray every day, and as long as there's a church nearby, we make it a point to attend Mass as well. On our way here, we heard about a village in New England that no other performers will go near. A village near, where good people live pious lives. A place that truly lives up to its name, the city upon a hill. As fellow Christians, we hope to learn from the people of Salem's example, and if we can bring them some joy in return. Through the only trade we know, we could ask for nothing more. The city upon a hill, huh? I can see that you mean well. And given what happened in the little tussle earlier, I can also see you want to blend into our town without causing trouble. Even if you are a bit on the unusual side. That said, I don't want you to leading us into temptation. People say that we Puritans hate plays, novels, and dancing, but that's giving us too much credit. It's not wrong, but it's not quite right either. We do our best to minimize those distractions in our lives precisely because we are drawn to them. Every child knows that plays are fun and exciting. And this tavern certainly sees its share of people coming and looking to relax and enjoy themselves. The people of his village purposefully go around turning blind eyes to each other's failings, as long as they only involve a glass and a hard cider. We are all of us frail vessels. We do not invite further temptation into our lives. That is my concern about your troop. Hard cider is pretty great stuff. I understand that as performers we may not be welcome. But does that mean we're not allowed to be here at all? That is not my decision to make. But if you're willing to demonstrate what sort of play you mean to put on, that might go a long way towards changing the people of Salem's minds. If you insist on performing, I'd be willing to speak to the Reverend and other respected villagers on your behalf. Why not try putting on a small show just for them, and getting approval from the village that way. I see, Senpai, I think this could be a good opportunity. Definitely. If you refuse to do so and mean to ply your trade without regard to the village's sense of piety, then I would prefer that you leave. The barkeep tells me your guest's a Professor Carter. All the more so in that case. If you don't want to be hauled out before the judge, you should go somewhere that's more welcoming to outsiders, like Rhode Island or Pennsylvania. This is Massachusetts. One may be a small village, but the eyes of God and His justice are upon us all. I don't want to see anyone hanged here. Hanged? About 4 years ago, I think, I saw a criminal hanged in Boston's town square. There was talk of witches and foul play. Perhaps you heard about it yourselves. Oh, witches, you say? Now that's something we'd like to hear all about. Finally, something relevant to the mission. If I may, Senpai, I think we should do as this man suggests. It's a good opportunity and would make our investigation considerably easier. I guess this is a kind of test, then. I'll do everything I can to help, of course. Excuse me. I believe there was a play in the book Anderson gave us that should be perfect. If it's alright with you, Senpai, shall we go with that one? Alrighty. Understood, then I'll speak to this man and request his assistance. Now we should head back to our room and get ready to perform. Oh, and if you're all wondering about Abby, I escorted her back to town center. She was a little shaken up by the gunshots, but she regained a composure soon enough. At least I think she did. God, fuck how long that node was. Ah! Seriously, I'm 2 hours in, and there's only been one fucking battle! Bazookas and assassins. Looks like we need some casters and berserkers ourselves. Hey, Merlin! Hey, Pen, where are you? Actually, no, I want to use my new Okita, because hooray for Okita. It's a trap. And then there was night. At the church. How long has it been since I last saw a play? What a waste of time. Ugh, what a waste of a perfectly good lamp oil. What nonsense is this? We worked so hard to build our town hall and to fill it with such frivolity. I don't even see the Reverend here. Where is he? I'm told he had to attend to someone who fell ill and can't make it tonight, but this should be enough. Alright, Ringmaster Sarah, we're all here. Go ahead and start the show. Let me just check on the actors. Okay, everyone, remember, just like we planned. You should already be familiar with the play from looking it over at Chaldea. We may not have been able to bring all the actual script, but you should all have your lines from the notes I gave you. Matahari, you'll play the Queen of Sheba. A strikingly flamboyant role, Sounds right up my alley. Robin, you'll play King Solomon. Yeah. And of course, Senpai, I'm sorry, Ringmaster will lead everyone through the production. You'll have multiple roles, so you're going to be busy. You've been a huge help, Mashu. Thank you, Ringmaster. It's been a fun change of pace from my usual work. Of course, now we have to actually perform. I'll be helping out from the side of the stage. As the narrator and prompter. I did have important things to do back at the house, you know. This is part of our mission, Medea. That's right, we need to let these people get to know us, albeit carefully. That said, I'm only a bit player this time around. Don't screw this up, Robin. I don't know why they picked me. I said I was fine being a tree. And why do I keep feeling like someone's staring at me? The gaze of our audience. Act now, or not at all. Show off. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule for our guests, Your Honor. I am not here as a drama critic. I will not judge the quality of the performance. It would be hardly fair of me to go around espousing Puritan values, after all. Are you serious? Are you serious? You're telling me that the Puritan here doesn't want to spread his Puritanism to everyone else? God, this is nicer than Twitter. Are you telling me that this... Twitter is worse than Puritanism? I will merely be determining whether this production is suited for the good Christian people of Salem. Oh, never mind. That's absolutely what he's trying to do. A perfectly sensible choice. Can you tell me what the company will be performing today, Miss Mashu? Of course, Mr. Carter. Tonight we'll be performing a story from Scripture. Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Well, that sounds lovely. I can't wait. I'm afraid we don't have any velvet curtains, but please go ahead and get started. Whoa, new CG from cute little Mashu. Oh, I love it. I love it. Good evening, distinguished guests, and thank you for accepting our invitation. On behalf of the Sarah Company, I would like to say that we cannot express our gratitude to you for taking your time to be here this evening. Tonight we will be performing a story about the most enigmatic queen in the Bible. She was the queen of a prosperous southern nation, somewhere in South Arabia or perhaps to the east of Africa. This queen was drawn to King Solomon, known far and wide for his peerless wisdom, and decided to journey across the desert to meet him. Tell me, do you know what a true desert is like? An endless sea of sand that stretches out past the horizon, a land of death, where not only a single drop of water can be found. To cross it, the queen ordered hundreds of camels, accompanied by thousands of soldiers in attendance, to form a single-file procession. Each camel was laden with incredible treasures, gold, jewels, and precious, frankincense. Our story begins with the queen perched on a camel, surveying her procession. How depressing. I don't mind traveling by camel. But what will I do if I travel all the way to Jerusalem and still cannot meet with King Solomon? Why does this weigh on you so, Your Majesty? You have thought of nothing else for these entire 2 months of travel. We are 2 days away from the Red Sea harbor, and Jerusalem is still further. Besides, see for yourself on the mountains of treasure you bring. 120 talents of gold, more than even 20 camels can carry. Sapphires, amber, opals, garnets, and other precious jewels, the finest frankincense of our nation has. Never before has such a vast array of treasure been brought on such a journey across the desert. More even than that, Your Majesty is renowned far and wide. Oh, Your Majesty's beauty is renowned far and wide. King or not, there is no man alive who would refuse you. Is that so? I'm not so sure about that. These treasures are merely tokens of my good intentions, to show the people that I am trustworthy. The true cargo I bear lies within my heart. For this man was born to be king, and he has been blessed by God himself. I'm afraid I do not understand. This man may be a great king, but he is still just a man. If you flatter him, he will grow conceited. If you appeal to his greed, riches will blind him. If he is truly born to be a king, is then not all the more the reason for him to rest on the laurels of his lineage? It is true that Israel is more than peaceful, and far easier to trade with now, than it was under its previous king. But I still have my doubts about his wisdom. Keep such thoughts to yourself now, that the harbor is in sight. One never knows where the ears of the king might be lurking. As you wish. What's this? Caravan leader, something is amiss at the head of the procession. It appears to be an ambush by bandits. They never learn, do they? We should be nearing an oasis. Thieves often congregate in such areas, so I expected some issues as we draw in near. Some poor fools cannot resist the temptation of our caravan offers and the possibility of its riches. If you expected as much, then I trust you to have also prepared for such attacks. Is there anything I could do to help drive them off? Surely you jest, Your Majesty. Rest assured that all is taken care of. We have plenty of capable fighters at our command. These fighters do not work merely for money. They are warriors of honor, faithful to Queen and country. I will send them out alongside our own soldiers post-haste. My, but aren't we pompous all of a sudden? But very well then, I leave you and your fighters to your task. We're putting on fights for the play. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh, it's getting cold outside again. I don't know why I bothered to bring Ushi along. It's because I didn't rearrange the party after I threw Merlin in there. There we go. There we go. I am serious. Don't call me Shirley. Look at the amazing production designs! Why is there a samurai fighting all the enemies?
つまらん。
いいとも。そこ。
I am always sleepy playing FGO. Do not know why.
この辺りいじった方がいいんじゃないか。
では。
Stop. The arts chain, though. What? Bloody, bloody.
Shoot.
仰せのとおり。
そこ。
罠だ。
あったったった。久しぶりの運動は答えるね。
God, this is all the first fucking node. Oh my god. Aren't there like 4 freaking nodes too? Or 4 chapters before? Yeah. I don't mind the time lock part because, God, it's so fucking long. Thanks to their capable bodyguards, the Queen's procession easily fended off their attackers. Soon after resuming their journey to Jerusalem, the procession arrived at the Red Sea harbor. The harbor was packed with throngs of camels, and there was a lively din sounding left and right from merchants awaiting ships and cargo. The Queen's caravan rented hundreds of ships, then set sail for the north of the Red Sea. In time, the massive fleet arrived upon the northern edge of the Gulf of Aqaba, at the seaport called Etziongeber, built by King Solomon himself. The people of Israel were certainly taken aback by the appearance of this mysterious queen and the untold wealth she brought with her. This magnificent scene of the queen meeting King Solomon has been depicted in countless numbers of painted masterpieces. The queen's procession held northward over land, their eyes taking in the pastures of the foreign country that surrounded them. Then, at last, they arrived at a point where they could just barely make out Jerusalem's glittering white ramparts. And yet something seemed amiss. Hey, Ari-chan? Could you check the litter box? Something smells atrocious. Oh, this is ridiculous. I can't take it anymore. You seem upset, my retainer. Yes, Your Majesty, I am. We've been stuck in this village within the ravine for an entire week. If we don't get moving soon, the soldiers and camel tamers will soon start to get homesick. What say the messengers we sent to Jerusalem? I've sent them countless times, Your Majesty. I even went with them to try and negotiate our entry myself. It's just, the guards keep intervening for, inventing reasons to turn us away from the gate. They're hopeless. Even showing them a list of all the gifts we bring for King Solomon has done little more than warrant a smirk. I see. Then perhaps it's time I met with them myself. Tell the caravan to loosen their loads and make themselves at ease. Your Majesty? See ya! Your Majesty, please. You mustn't go off on your own. There is a flock of sheep coming this way. I'll have the guards chase them off. No need for that. This is not our kingdom, so we shall be the ones to make way. My, these sheep are nice and plump, and their wool is soft and well kept. This is indeed a rich land. Did you fart?
She's been having some stinky farts.
She has.
Blaming all of the smells the cat is actually
Well, it's hard to say. You gotta check both.
I know what he smells like. I know what he smells like.
Well, now, it isn't every day one comes across such an esteemed noble. Good day to you. Stay back, who are you? As you can see, I'm merely a passing shepherd. A harmless, friendly young man who enjoys nothing more than singing and dancing. Are shepherds so rare where you come from? No, they are not. I do beg your pardon. You must be the travelers that have been staying here in this ravine. This place is ill-suited to making camp. Have you run into some manner of trouble on your journey? You are quite perceptive, young shepherd, as luck would have it. I see. That is certainly odd. Jerusalem is supposed to be a city of compassion, a place that will open its gates to anyone. How terribly embarrassing that it has seen fit to reject guests who have traveled from so far away. Can you tell us what Jerusalem is like, young shepherd? What do you think of the great king's city? Well now, I can hardly refuse to answer a question from such a beautiful lady, can I? Your Majesty, surely there are far better ways to pass the time than in the company of this ill-mannered youth. What's wrong with it? I'm having a perfectly lovely time. Unfortunately, I haven't been to the city myself in quite a while, but I do hear rumors from time to time. Jerusalem is a city like no other. It is truly the center of the world. Its ramparts stand tall against any threat, and its palace is the height of luxury. I believe its most beautiful treasure is the temple and its previous king wished to build really, really badly. They say it's a truly impressive sight. I implore you to pay it a visit after you arrive, my lady. I think I shall do just that. What about the people who live there? Have they no companions at all? Good question. I suppose I simply must say that the king is doing a superb job. Each and every single one of his people speaks to him with reverence, with language as lyrical as poetry. They say that he is a fair and just judge. Possessed of true wisdom, he was born to be a perfect king. True wisdom, but ripe fruit inevitably draws pests. The fruit itself may be to blame, but alas, there is nothing one can do about the laws of nature. Thus do security and abundance inevitably lead to avarice and arrogance. I knew it. Your Majesty? Wait, does this mean the gatekeepers expect us to bribe them? Even after our messengers have long since paid our toll? Well, I'm afraid there isn't much of a lowly shepherd like me can do about that. The best I can do is join you in conversation here in the shade for a fleeting moment. Oh, unless you would also like me to play my harp. No, that will do. Thank you, my good shepherd. By the way, I notice a number of your sheep have injured their legs. Could I buy them off of you so that I may treat the subjects to them? Well, that would be a great help. I could not think of a more advantageous trade for us both. Oh, right. I just remembered something else that you may find of interest. It is perhaps a bit spooky, but... Hidden gates, you say? That's right, gates. Jerusalem is a big place, with many people coming and going. As such, the ramparts contain a number of side gates. A holy gate reserved for God. A gate for chariots, a gate for merchants, a gate for slaves, even a gate for shepherds. And while I don't know whether it really exists or not, I've also heard there's a forbidden gate for Ruach, for spirits. They say it is dark even during the day, and that the dead themselves make use of it. It is always closed and barred. Not even the guards go near it. Hello! Thus did the Queen of Sheba learn of this hidden gate into Jerusalem, from a mysterious young shepherd. The Queen next stole away to Jerusalem in the middle of the night, taking only a select few of her servants. She decided that if the front gates would not be opened to her, she would simply sneak in the back. None of this is written in Holy Scripture, but please do not call it heresy. No matter how our company may use our imagination to help bring this story to life, it would do nothing to diminish King Solomon's greatness, or the Queen of Sheba's beauty. If the guards would refuse us passage, then we shall make our own passage into the city. Huh, as if crossing the great desert wasn't brazen enough. I never imagined you to be so reckless a queen. Ah. These must be some of the city's guards, so this is another trial we must face. If our actions go against the will of God, then this is where our journey will come to an end. Please stand back, Your Majesty. The soldiers will handle this. We are soldiers. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum.
一気火星に滅ぼしてくれよ。やるぞ、マスター。では。
お任せを、承知。はっ。はっ。
That's so much crit, baby. So much crit.
承知。
いいとも。
そこ。
罠だ。
そうです。
Good job, Merlin.
承知。
つまらん。
What you
い
making?
ざ。そこ。
Yeah.
そこ。
You're making a quesadilla. Can I have some? It sounds delicious.
お任せを。いざ。承知。
So I was gonna try and stream the next part of Pokemon because I've got, I think I've reached Leia again. I wanted to show her off a bit, but I'm thinking I might not just because of how FGO kind of just stole all the thunder, and I'll be streaming that a lot and still having to make my quota of videos, which has become very tough lately.
お望みのままに。
It's very tough. making these videos.
柄ではないんだけどね。お任せ。夢のように片付けよう。
Man, I love the FGO Babylonia anime. It is so good. It is so good. And I'm pretty sure anyone watching has a newfound love for Ushi Wakamaru. Things are going too fast? I disagree. I think it's going at a pretty smooth pace. Head pats, head pats. Hey, Rabbit Sensei. Frita has a lot of health. I'm doing wonderful. I'm always caught off guard with how fast and little notice these singularities are actually announced. Yes, drunk Leonidas. Everything is better to see it in person than it was in the game. That's how I feel. Headphones? And so the Queen of Sheba's procession fought off the guardian spirits and successfully made their way into Jerusalem. Soon the king learned that a foreign queen had entered the holy city, and the front gates were finally opened. Thus did the parade of camels and ostentatiously dressed attendants make their way through Jerusalem. Though the people of Jerusalem were accustomed to luxury, the riches that the queen presented to the king must surely have made them even their eyes drop. Gotta forward all audio. Okay. The lavish spices they brought with them also proved to be incredibly popular, and soon the holy city was filled with their scents. Shortly thereafter, the queen was officially invited to the palace, and at long last granted an audience with King Solomon himself. How good of you to come, Queen of Sheba. On behalf of my subjects, I welcome you. I extend my hospitality to you and your people. Please stay in my palace. Rest from your journey. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, good King Solomon. Now that this moment has come, the fatigue from my journey has all but vanished. I know who you are. This may be our first time meeting face to face, but I have had opportunities to learn about you. Without fail, the finest jewels and spices brought to Jerusalem come from the southern kingdoms. I have spoken to merchants and travelers about them, interested to know more. They told me of a queen from a desert kingdom in the south with a sure eye and a nose for trade. Until last night, my image of that queen was hazy and blurred like a mirage. But now I can see clearly that she is a beautiful desert flower beyond compare. You are too kind, King Solomon. If anything, I am the one in awe of how your grand figure far succeeds the picture I held in my mind. I apologize for the treatment you endured on your journey here, Queen of Sheba. I shall find out how it came to pass, and see justice served, should it be necessary. If it please you, I shall give you a tour of the palace myself. Will that serve as an apology? A tour from King Solomon himself. I can think of no greater pleasure. Of course, the pleasure will be mine, I assure you. This is so drawn out. Why are they showing Camelot? The two rulers proceeded to walk around Jerusalem's palace, chatting happily all the while. Every one of the dances performed, the harp songs played, and the dishes served was truly exquisite. But the place that the Queen of Sheba was most impressed with was indeed the very building the Good Shepherd had told her about. The magnificent Temple of Jerusalem stood even taller than the king's own palace. Atop its great altar, burnt offerings were made to God. There, sacrificial animals and other splendid offerings were consumed by sacred fire. Once these offerings were chosen to become God's food, the frankincense, which would later be chosen as one of the 3 wise men's gifts, was burned like firewood. While bearing witness to all these amazing spectacles, the Queen casually posed King Solomon a series of questions. Indeed, these very questions were the Queen's purpose in venturing to Jerusalem. A quest begun in hope of appraising the king's wisdom, distinguished his worth, and gaining a true answer to questions she had long pondered. Some scholars say the Queen had only 2 questions, while others claim she had as many as 19. Whatever their number, King Solomon answered each in turn, and the Queen marveled at his wisdom. And in that moment, she decided to entrust King Solomon with the 3 most precious riddles she carried deep in her heart. Solomon, in turn, honored his noble guest by having his many retainers line up among both sides of his throne. So began a battle of wits to test the merits of both rulers. There could be no room for failure, as silence hung in the throne room. The audience watched with bated breath. Great King Solomon, leader of the people of Israel, and bearer of boundless wisdom, I humbly request that you answer these questions, and share your wisdom with your guests. Very well, speak your other questions. There is a room with 10 doors. When 1 door is open, 9 are closed. When 9 doors are open, 1 door is closed. The answer is a person. The room is the womb, and the 10 doors are the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, navel, and excretory holes. Really? Yipes. You know, things don't come out of your navel. But, when a person is a fetus, the door of the navel is open. Once they are born, that door is closed forever. Okay, there you go. Fine, you're right. O King, you are wise indeed. Speak your next question. Very well then, O King, let me ask you this. These words weigh more than gold or even life itself and require 4 people to carry them. And yet their master has never once seen them. The answer is the Ark of the Covenant. The very chest I inherited from my predecessor. It contains the 10 Commandments, the proof of our covenant with God. It is kept in the innermost chamber of my temple, a most holy room that is constantly filled with incense. O King, you are truly a man of wisdom. Speak your next question. Very well then, O King. This is my final question. Wait, you're not eating? Oh, you are too. Okay, good. You just got some veggies too. Very well then, O King. This is my final question. This ocean is calm. A ship sails forward against the wind. The ship's pilot plots a course toward the dark clouds. The ship is in no way prepared to weather a storm. Let's see. The answer is, hang on, time out. Just give me a second here, Calm ocean. A ship pilot. What? What's that all about? Did you stomp him? Should have just asked what's in your pocket. Hold on just a moment, I can answer this. Oh yes, Great King. Please tell me your answer. What's the matter, Solomon? Hurry up and answer her third question. I'm trying, but my script only had 2 riddles. Huh? That can't be right. Wait. I don't see it in mine either. What's going on? I could have sworn Anderson's manuscript had all 3. Huh? What's this? Don't tell me the great King Solomon can't even answer a simple riddle. Well, what say you, Your Majesty? I'm following my script to the letter, okay? I didn't have any response lines in mine either. Damn it, Matahari. I can tell you're enjoying this. Yeah, I've got your answer right here. Why wouldn't I know it? Solomon knows everything. Please stay in character. The riddle was so easy, it is not worthy of an answer. What say you, my trusted advisor? Would you like to answer this one in my stead? You may even offer just a hint if you like. Wait, me? Come on, Ringmaster, help me out here. Senpai! Maybe it's the difference between you 2 rulers. Rulers, huh? What say you, O King? A fascinating riddle. It cuts to the very core of our 2 perspectives. If I answer incorrectly, then Israel will lose a precious friend indeed. The answer is a nation. When a capable sailor takes the helm, the wind may carry him faster than ever. Much as the sea might appear the same everywhere, it is far from a single thing. It is made of numberless droplets altogether. Even when it appears calm, its surface hides unforeseeable waves and maelstroms. It is like the grains of sand that make up a desert, like quicksand lying in wait for its prey. Very well then, O King. Where lies the ship's destination? The ship stops for nothing. But it is not a ship that runs from danger, nor one that drifts upon the waves. It is but driftwood that will sink in the fullness of time. The pilot knows that an unavoidable storm is coming and sounds the alarm. Only a ship that endures tribulation will see the glorious light of day that awaits in the new world. O King, you are indeed wise. Leader worthy of this. You are indeed a wise leader worthy of this nation. Queen of Sheba, I pray that the Lord, our God, sees fit to bless you with his protection. You are no mere guest destined to while away her time before my throne. Though your kingdom may be but a mirage that lies to the distant south, I hereby vow that our 2 nations shall be allies, and you, my friend. You are too kind, O King, but I am most heartened that my journey has proved fruitful. Should you ever be in need of aid in an even greater endeavor, I shall return from beyond the desert and assist you to the best of my ability. Thus did King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba's battle of wits come to an end. With more awe and respect for Solomon than ever before, the queen set off to return to her home of Sheba. Solomon, in turn, was happy to give the queen exactly the gift she wished for. As for what became of the prosperous desert kingdom, of the bond between King Solomon and its queen, no biblical scholar can say. All we can do now is imagine the fate of the legendary queen for ourselves. Thank you all for watching. This concludes the Sarah Company special performance of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. we finally... Oh, one more node. Hopefully it's not too long. Actually, I have to wrap it up. I'm sorry. This is so long. I'll be able to resume this on Wednesday, ideally. Yes, I'll continue this Wednesday, and I'll have the upload of this one tomorrow, so you can watch that, get caught up if you're not. Obviously, y'all are here. But yes, thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to OtakuDaiKun for more anime lists, reviews, discussions, lore videos, Let's Plays, and the Holy Waifu Wars. Until next time, celebrate your fandom.